While American Honda's Trey Canard raced away with his first victory since 2011, Ken Roczen lost his 12-point lead after slamming into the face of a triple. Can the determined German bounce back? They call him the Diesel. After 4 solid main events, Ryan Dungey has snuck away with the points lead and the red plate for round 5. Can he steamroll all the way to Vegas? The fireworks continue to explode in the 250 West Division after this smackdown between Yamaha's Cooper Webb and Kawasaki's Tyler Bowers. Paybacks. A B word, Bowers. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Race Day Live on SupercrossLive.com. We are here for round 5 of the 2015 Monster Energy AMA Supercross Series and FIM World Championship. Back at Angel Stadium for the 3rd and final time in 2015. Welcome to the show, folks.
Can you believe it, Andy?
Yeah.
The final time we're here in 2015, Angel Stadium. I mean, it seems like it just was yesterday we were here for the opener, January 3rd. But I think this track here tonight in Anaheim, I think it's going to be one of the better Anaheims that we've seen in a long time.
Absolutely. Welcome to the show, folks. I'm your host, Andy Boyer. Beside me, as always, is former factory Yamaha and Supercross legend Jim Hollywood Holly.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Like I said, Andy, it's just, you know, you talk about the track and some of the things that I noticed right away that you had told me about is the starting line. They're up on a platform and they drop down in, and then the mirrored section of the whoops. I think it's going to be tough for the guys here tonight, and it's going to be challenging. And we always talk about it. You got to get the start.
Yeah. Even
more here tonight.
It's an awesome track. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Kawasaki track map coming up right now.
Well, there it is, the Kawasaki track map, and we're going to watch the arrow, and you're going to see that arrow drop down. It looks like it's about an elevation change of about 10 feet. Once the gate drops, they're going to drop down. They're going to rocket down into this long first turn that's going to be a left-hander. And after that first turn, you're going to get right into a timing section, and watch out for this left-hander, especially on that first lap. A lot of boom going on there. Then you're going to have a little bit of sand here with this right-hander. If you can double, step on, step off again into this right-hander and out of that right-hander, this is where it's going to be critical. Can you do 3, 3, and 2 as we head into the right-hander, and out of that right-hander, another section where you're going to come with 3, 2, and then the 65-foot triple as we see the Kawasaki whip there. A right-hander, and out of that right-hander, triple this section, triple again before you go over the Monster Energy finish line, and right after that it's going to be a left-hander, and there's another one of those 1 of 8 step-on, step-offs here, and then as soon as you get off there, carry that momentum because you're going to hit a gnarly set of whoops heading into home plate, another 180, right-hander, another mirrored set of those whoops, and then there's some more of those step-on, step-offs. This right-hander is going to be tricky, a lot of passing going on here. You got that double, back onto the starting line, back down, a nice drag race getting into it. I really like that that section there because you're really going to see the guys open these 450s up and these 250s.
Yeah, they sure are. And a lot of you folks at home and a lot of the racers have been saying, hey, we want to see more technical tracks. We want to see some things to separate the riders. Well, if you look over my shoulder, we have got an amazing track. This is by far the most dynamic design we've seen so far this season. 2 whoop sections. We got an elevated start. We've got, I think, 6 tabletops out there, and it's almost like BMX. You know, this is going to be a different track. We were actually able to go down there and get a closer look at a couple of the more dynamic obstacles we're going to see tonight. And we're back with you guys. We got some technical difficulties. We're going to show that video here in a little bit. But, hey, we're out here on the track. The guys are loosening up. We've already seen the big boys out there for their first untimed, practice sessions. It looks good.
Yeah, especially for these guys right here in this 450C. It's the free practice out there. This gives the guys a lot of opportunity. Just kind of go out there without a clock on them. Even though we kind of see some of their lap times, it doesn't mean anything. It's not for qualifying. It's just a chance for these guys to go out there and get acclimated to the track and learn it. Like we talked about earlier, we've talked off camera before, Andy. I said, some of these tracks, me and you, we'd like to kind of go around. I don't want to go around this one tonight.
No.
It's tough. It's technical. It's going to be hard for the guys.
Yeah, it sure will. And, let's go back to last week real quick. I mean, that was just a bombshell. Everybody thought, Roczen had this thing right in the palm of his hand. He had won 2 of the last 3 races, led something like 45 of 60 possible laps. He passes Eli Tomac in his heat race and then goes out, and you all know what happened. We were standing right there watching it.
Well, I think once he made that pass on that left-hander on Chad Reed, and before he went up to the triple jump, I thought at that point he thought, well, yeah, I got it in hand. But once he got up in the air, he realized that, hey, I don't have enough power to clear this triple jump. And you saw before he had made impact on the face of that, he kind of looked back. And the reason why he was looking back to make sure nobody was going to land on top of him, Ken Roczen is so lucky that he didn't break anything. And, with that 15th place finish, he's only 4 down in the championship. But think about it. If he would have been able to win that race and Dungey was second, he'd have 15 points coming into Anaheim here. But no more. It's gone. He's 4 points down, and Dungey has that red background. And that's why we come racing each and every week. It's going to be this way all the way until Las Vegas.
Opened up a can of worms, didn't they? Yeah, both classes are really close in the points, and it's just going to be awesome tonight. I can't wait to see how this thing's going to shake out. But we have a huge, huge show for you folks tonight. We're going to get into some more things about our guests, but for right now, I wanted to show you guys a picture of that elevated start. It's really high up there. This thing's 6 to 8 feet off the ground. And like these guys practice hundreds of starts a week, sometimes hundreds a day. They haven't been practicing any of them like that, I promise you.
No, I don't think anybody at their test track have something like that. And here's the interesting thing. A lot of these riders, well, pretty much all of them, have hole shot devices. Do you collapse that thing? Because as soon as that front wheel drops off, it may disengage. Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do. I haven't had a chance to talk to any of the guys, and they haven't had a chance to go off. You got to remember, the only chance they're going to have to go off of that thing is in their heat race. They don't get
That's the first time.
Yeah, they don't get a chance to practice this during the night. So it's going to be interesting. But I can assure you one thing: I don't think anyone's going to loop out as they come out of the gate because of the fact that that front end, as soon as it rolls over, it's going to be down. Yeah.
They were even talking like maybe some guys launching clear out and trying to jump off of it. So it's going to be interesting to see how that shapes out.
I don't know about that because if you launch off, here's the thing about it. You launch, the suspension collapses, then it rebounds up. You're not getting the horsepower. I think you keep both wheels on the ground. You want to keep that suspension even when you come off of there. I think if you jump off, it's going to be like a jump and you rebound up. I think it's going to throw guys off. But you never know. Hey, I haven't raced in a long time, so maybe someone's got something different.
Well, we got some guests that coming up that have raced very, very recently. And, our first guest I think we're going to have today is Weston Peick. It's unfortunate. He's had a great season. He had a great season going, and then he hurt his foot, but that guy's tough as nails. He's going to be back soon, but he's going to sit down and talk with us, and we'll ask him how would he handle that start. And then we're also going to have Brian Deegan, one of the biggest freestyle icons in the history of motocross. He races trucks. His kids race in the amateur nationals now, and he won the 1996 LA Supercross and ghost rode his bike over the finish line. He's a family man now, and it's going to be great to have him on and talk to him.
Yeah, you mentioned Brian Deegan there. I remember that night at the LA Coliseum when he launched that bike. I just picked up Jordan Burns, who actually owned the Moto Triple X at that time, him and Kenny Watson and everything. And he said, he has that bike actually in his garage. So that bike's still around, the number 28 Suzuki two-stroke that awesome. Deegan won. But yeah, I think that kind of set a precedent. You got to be on your motorcycle when you cross the finish line, and no more ghost riding the bikes. But that was pretty spectacular.
It sure was. And another guest we're going to have is, I call him Young Money, Adam Cianciarulo, and he was coming into this season really looking like he was going to win the championship. And he got hurt overseas. It's a major bummer, but he's already back on the comeback trail. He's working out at the Alden Baker factory. When he does come back, this kid's going to go right to the front of the pack, I believe.
Yeah, I think for him, just having that injury that he had last year, knowing that, hey, he was leading the championship and his shoulder popped out, then he had surgery. And I want to ask him because I'm surprised that he even went to Europe to ride because usually Mitch doesn't like his guys to go over there, a chance of getting hurt. But you know what? It happened. He got hurt again. He's going to miss all the Supercross. And, he doesn't feel bad enough himself alone. It's all the fans. We didn't know if he was going to ride East or West Coast. That was, a secret. We didn't know what he's going to do, but hopefully he'll come back and be strong. And then another guest we have that's going to be pretty cool, Mike Webb, the team manager of the Yoshimura Suzuki. Blake Baggett coming off of his best finish, the 7th last week, and we'll get into him and ask him how James is doing.
He's one of your old riding buddies, isn't he?
Yeah, we head up to Bean Canyon. We go out there and have fun. His brother, Tom Webb, editor for High Torque Publication and Dirt Bike Magazine, been a longtime friend. He's got another brother, Kip. He's a construction guy, but all three Webb brothers, they haul butt, that's for sure.
It's awesome. You know, it's going to be good to have all those guys on and talk with us today. We have so much to talk about, you know. And one of the things that is sticking out to me the most was Chad Reed. You know, I don't know. He had 2 top 10 finishes, but they didn't look very good. And then he goes out there and has a horrible race with Trey Canard and gets involved in the controversy. Then he shows up at Oakland and was on the gas big time. Well, do you think that was a fluke, or do you think he's going to carry momentum into this thing?
No, it's not a fluke with Chad Reed. And I was going to say you hit the nail on the head when he had that problem with Trey Canard and got black flag. That just motivates Chad Reed.
Yeah.
You never want to go up to a guy like Chad Reed and get him pissed off. Yeah. You get him pissed off, and he just thrives on that. And he comes back and look, I mean, he led the thing for a few laps last weekend. He had some problems. I thought he was going to have second. Then he makes a mistake and goes off the track and made some bobbles, but still held on. You know, he was in jeopardy. I mean, there's been a long time. Every season that he's been in, he hasn't went 4 Supercrosses without being on the podium. He was in jeopardy last week, but Chad Reed prevails. He gets a 3rd last weekend, and yeah, he'll be strong here, and he's gunning for something here at Anaheim too, because you know Jeremy McGrath's got 8 wins here. James Stewart has 8 wins here at Anaheim, and Chad Reed has 8 wins also at Anaheim. So he wants to be the guy here at Anaheim to have 9. He wants to be the first, and then you got a guy like Kenny Roczen. You know, he's already got 3 Anaheim wins. He's chomping at the bit, but I don't think anybody since Anaheim's been coming here 3 times have won round 1, 3, and 5. I don't know. Kenny can do it tonight. We'll see.
That's right. You know, and I don't think Kenny Roczen's going to slow down at all. And another guy, we got to talk about him. He's so easy to overlook, and I don't know why, but he's leading the points. You know, I kind of wrote about that in my column this week. What if I told you 5 weeks into this thing and the who's next, the most packed class ever, what if I told you Ryan Dungey's going to have a 4-point lead heading into round 5?
I might have believed you.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, you look at him and you come out and he's had 2 seconds. Yeah. He's had a 3rd. He's had a 4th. He's been consistent, but he had to have a little help to get that red background, and that help came from his ex-teammate Kenny Roczen on making that huge mistake. But you know, you can never count out Ryan Dungey. He will be there all the way until Las Vegas. He might not win 9 races in a season or 10 in a season and wrap up the championship, but he's going to be there. And Ryan Dungey's won here before. So I think, you know, with this momentum change, this is a good opportunity for Ryan Dungey to come out and some of his criticism, I'm not aggressive enough, but look for him to be tough
tonight.
The
show, man.
He could do it tonight.
You know, and the other guy that carried in probably the most hype, I think, coming into the series because he won everything overseas was Eli Tomac. You know, and he had a horrible opening round. Then he wins the second round rather convincingly by passing Roczen. Then he's kind of, you know, he hasn't been as spectacular. He's actually hasn't charged through the pack. He's been at the front, but he finished 4th place last weekend. What do you think is going on with Eli?
Well, we talked about it at the last time we were here at Anaheim when he finished up 3rd on the podium. And it looks like, you know, he kind of gets in a rut, you know, lap 12, 13. You think he's coming, and then all of a sudden he just stays and maybe drops off a little bit, and he doesn't seem to get past that. But I mean, talk about a roller coaster ride of a season. I mean, round 1 here he has the crash, he doesn't do anything, gets I think 1 point, then he comes back the next weekend, wins, and then he had a 3rd and a 4th. Eli's got to get back up on the top of the box to make it interesting. But one thing for sure, you mentioned all those riders, and Trey Canard's also in that picture also. All of those guys with that Ken Roczen failure that he had last weekend with that malfunction of his brain and jumping that, the points have tightened up. Everybody's got a chance to win this championship now.
Well, let's talk about the 250 class. That's where some major fireworks have been going on. You know, Webb and Bowers, they were pretty vocal on the podium. You interviewed him last week, and Webb was none too happy about that pass.
No, I mean, he thought that, you know, maybe that was a little bit dirty. Who knows? I mean, you had 3 guys going into that corner. Bowers was the last guy. And in the open, you did that piece with him, which was very nice. He said the B word. I'm thinking the B word is for Bam or something. Like we have a new Bam Bam in the 250 class. I mean, Justin Barsha, when he rode 250s, he got that tag on there, Bam Bam. But it's not over. I mean, we got a race here tonight in Anaheim. Then we go next week down to San Diego to the new stadium, Petco Park, where the Padres play out. Looking forward to that. Then these guys go with a little bit of hiatus before we come back, and it'll be interesting to see if maybe Bowers or some of the other guys will jump up to that 450. I'm always curious to see that. And you know, Cooper Webb, he won in Japan on a 450, the last Japanese national championship. So he's got some experience also in the Monster Energy Cup on a 450. But I don't know. If he's leading the championship, what would you do if you were Bobby Reagan and the boys over there?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's pretty I did some research between those two, and I think they patched it up a little bit. But it's still going to be rough and tumble between them, I think. And this track is going to offer some opportunities for some block passes and some spectacular racing. Let's go ahead and take another look at some action we looked at down there on the track last night. Andy Boyer with Race Day Live, presented by AMSOIL. We're here at round 5 of the 2015 Monster Energy Supercross Series. This is the third Anaheim of the season. We have one of the most dynamic track designs of the season. None more so interesting than this 8-foot drop-off here for the starting line. Now, the racers practice all week long on their starts, hundreds of them. They'll literally burn the clutches out on their bikes practicing starts. None of the guys practice coming off of an 8-foot drop-in. This is going to throw a huge cog into everybody's starting procedure tonight for the race. It's going to be interesting. We're going to see guys that usually get good starts maybe struggle here, and some guys that typically don't get hole shots maybe use this to their advantage. Keep an eye on the starting line all night long. And ladies and gentlemen, you are not seeing double. This is a back-to-back whoop section separated by a 180-degree bowl corner. This is going to create one of the largest passing opportunities on this dynamic track. Now, all the guys are going to want to come down this whoop section on the left side to get a drive around the outside of the corner to power through this second whoop section. Now, what that's going to do is leave the door open on the inside for some exciting block passes. Look for some of the taller guys and some of the guys that specialize in the whoops to really excel on this part of the track. I'm really predicting a lot of passing going on right here with this 2 whoop sections for tonight. It's going to be exciting. And look who's joined us here. We got Weston Peick with us, man. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, guys.
How's the foot doing? That's what I got to ask.
Foot's not bad. It's healing up good. You know, should be back hopefully by Texas. Hopefully we'll get checked out today and kind of get it checked out.
So that's there it is right there. We're getting a chance to see that picture there. That happened in Phoenix, and I know you had surgery. I talked to you and your dad after just to see how you were doing. You said, "Hey, I'm going to try here at Anaheim on the 17th," and you went not even a full lap. And what happened?
Yeah, you know, it was a bummer. I just wanted to be out there racing. You know, obviously finishing back up my Phoenix run. So I tried as hard as I could to end up racing, and it just didn't happen. You know, I went out there and I took the risk of re-injuring it. You know, going into it. So I thought it'd be good, and ended up just hitting it the wrong way, and it re-broke. So you know, it was kind of a bummer deal, and so I ended up having to go back east and get it fixed one more time. And you know, this time I'm gonna take more time and let it heal up properly.
Weston, let's go back to the big moment in Phoenix. You know, the guy that's leading this thing, you blew his doors off and passed him and held him off the whole race. I mean, you still got to carry that fire with you when you get back going.
Yeah, definitely. I'm more excited to get back and get going. You know, I was bummed that I couldn't continue that right now. But you know, I rode a good race in Phoenix, and it was a bummer. Like I said, I couldn't finish. So I'm looking forward to get back out there and start where I was right at.
Yeah. Is it tough watching somebody else race in your place? You know, Phil's a great guy, and you guys practice with him. But are you kind of sitting there going, "Oh man"?
Yeah, it's definitely a bummer, you know what I mean, considering, you know, the momentum I had coming into this series, and just being able to, just even here right now watching, it's just kind of like you don't want to watch because, you know, you want to be out there racing. So it's a tough call, but, you know, obviously that's just what happens with the sport. So I'll be looking forward to get back out there.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. I heard that after on the 17th that night, Saturday night, you and the coach got in his private jet and flew back to North Carolina to have the surgery done the next day, correct?
Yeah, it was awesome. You know, they made some phone calls real quick, and we ended up getting back there that same night and had surgery for the second time Monday morning. So, you know, it's definitely awesome having stuff like that and having people on my team that can, you know, that want the best for you and go through any extents to do what they did. So it's pretty awesome.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, yeah. Andy, you know as well as I do, you know, being a former rider, and we've been privateers, and we've had factory rides and stuff, but I mean, to have a jet at your disposal to fly back to have surgery on Monday and make those phone calls. I mean, you've been through the privateer ranks. I mean, I've watched you, you know, your whole career coming up. I mean, you're on Yamaha, Suzuki's, this, that. Halfway through one season, you're on another one. But I mean, that look at the smile on his face. I mean, just having those resources available to you. I mean, that's big.
No, it's huge. I've been, you know, I couldn't be more thankful for these guys hiring me this year. It's been a long journey, a privateer that I've been going through, and for these guys that signed me, I've just been more than happy. I've been more motivated to race and everything else. You know, it's awesome to be able to have, you know, these people behind me and want the best for you. So it's an awesome deal.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes is when preparation meets opportunity. And man, you just went right into that. You've been in a box van, you've been in your own team, and then bam, you get the factory ride, and you produce right off the bat. You were killing it, you know. So it's got to be all the more motivation you need to get back up there and get that podium that was that close. Yeah, exactly. It was super close, and like I said, it's definitely, you know, the motivation is key, obviously, you know, just to be able to be at the point I'm at and with the team and everything, wanting the best for me. I've just been you know, working so hard to be the best. So it's been going good.
Hey, Weston, we're getting a chance to look at the 250 Group B out here. The first time they're on the track for qualifying. You've been there and done that.
Yep.
When I rode, we didn't have qualifying like this. But, you know, you run into a lot of situations like this where you see guys down and you might be on a heater. What's going through your mind when you see something like that and you're on a good lap?
You know, it's definitely it's ideal to be smart, you know, and try to find the best line around them and keep your speed up and trying to get that hot lap. But, you know, sometimes when people are down, it's hard to, you know, get that rhythm section down, or you don't want to end up landing on somebody and making a dumb decision. But for the most part, you got to be smart with it and try to work around it.
You know, something that Andy always alludes to, we always kind of watch the qualifying. We always see the same guys up front right away. Anderson, a couple of the other, they always jump out.
Yeah.
Where are you at in that mix? Do you like hey, you guys go ahead and go, I'm going to start out my own way, or do you get right in the middle of it? How do you like to go?
I like to, you know, I go out with a plan every time. So my plan of attack is just like, as soon as the green flag drops, like, it's game face, you know, get your fast laps in because the track's going to deteriorate. It's going to get slower. So, you know, my opportunity is to get out there as quick as possible and get your fastest lap time as soon as you can. So.
Yeah, you've taken a look at this track right now. I don't know if you did the track walk, but check out that starting line. You know, have you ever been on one like that before? And if so, how do you attack something like that?
It's different. You know, obviously, I just got here right now, but it looks difficult. You know, it's a little bit different of a start, but I think it'll be different just having that drop off and just kind of your setup coming off the line and being able to keep the front end down off that. It should be pretty technical, but I think everybody will get used to it. So.
Well, we were talking about it earlier in the show. You know, the whole shot device, it's down already. Once that front end drops off, it may disengage. You don't know until you try, but something that's hard is you don't get a chance to practice this if you're out there. It's going to be the heat race.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough. I think, obviously, in Monster Cup last year they had an uphill start, but this one's different. I don't think we've had one like this yet. So it's pretty interesting to see what happens for the night.
And there it is right there. You know, you guys have different ignition mapping. You guys have whole shot devices front and rear. That kind of looks like it gets thrown out the window with that thing, but it's going to be exciting. I tell you, Weston, though, there's a couple current events. I know you've been home watching because you haven't been able to race. What do you think about the deal with Tyler Bowers and Cooper Webb? You know, was that a dirty pass last weekend, or was that just racing? What do you think?
I mean, like, as much as I think it was racing. I mean, it was a little bit of an aggressive pass, but I think when you're battling that close and the series only has 7 races, I think it's you know, it's every man for themselves. You got 7 rounds to win a championship, and I think it's so close right now that you have to make moves like that to try to win your championship. So I think it was a little bit of an aggressive move, but you know, that's just racing, and that's just kind of what, you know, the sport needs to come back to, is more of everybody needs to be more aggressive and not be so fragile and get black flagged and have problems like that. So it needs to be more aggressive and stuff like that. You know, I want to see personally more stuff like that. You know. So.
Were you surprised to see the composure that he had to come back and finish up second on the podium line, because he was a long way back?
Yeah, you know, Cooper's riding awesome. You know, I talked to him last night a little bit, and he's definitely riding with confidence and definitely riding with speed. I could just see it at the practice tracks and stuff like that. So I think he's got what it takes to win a championship, and you know, that's probably what he'll end up doing this year if he can stay on 2 wheels and keep out front.
You know, I want to go back to round 2, Phoenix, Arizona. You had one of your best career finishes, a 4th place there, and you know, Dungey gets around you on the outside, and you saw the replay, you're underneath, and I knew something at that point there that something was wrong with you, because I go, Weston, how come you didn't drive in a little deeper and block him or whatever? But obviously after the race I found out, because I asked you, and you said, man, my foot's broke. I didn't, and it was the same foot where you were going to slam into him. You know, it's the outside left foot, so you get your foot's already broke, and now you get it in between 2 cases, you do more damage.
Yeah, exactly. That was a bummer. Like I said, I broke it the lap before he passed me, and it was that left foot, and you know, it was just kind of like I was going to try to hold him off as much as I could, but you know, he was on me, and I figured it was like I was landing with 1 foot on the peg, and it was going to be pretty gnarly. It was either I could just take him out or just finish for 4th, and I didn't want to get my first podium by taking somebody out. You know, I wanted to race to the finish, and you know, it just kind of let him have to go by. So.
How's the mood over at your camp? You know, we had you come over there, and your teammate Justin Barsha was two of the biggest moves of the season, and I kind of expected things right off the bat with Justin, and he's kind of slowly getting going. Are they keeping their heads up over there? Are they switching things up? What's it like over there?
Yeah, you know, the team's awesome. I think, you know, the team is willing to do anything to make the bike better every single weekend, and, you know, if we're having a tough time with something, you know, that next week on Monday, we're doing everything they possibly can to fix it, change it, settings, and everything. So I think, you know, we're getting there and stuff like that. You know, I've been super comfortable with my bike. I love my bike, and you know, I think everything else is going good. So the team's awesome, and they just, you know, like I said, want the best. So.
You know, I want to ask you. You mentioned Justin Barsha, your teammate there. You guys have had some problems in the past, but now you guys are teammates. That's beside you. But the opening round one here at Anaheim, that last lap. I mean, were you expecting Barsha to come in there, and did you know he was behind you?
Yeah, you know, I knew he was behind me. I didn't know. I mean, obviously, I forget who I was racing with at the point, but you know, I definitely went a little high in the turn. I thought I kind of cut it down a little bit, but not high enough. And you know, I would expect that. It's the last lap pass, and I left the door open, and you know, he took the spot. So I mean, I would have done the same on the last lap. So
true gentleman.
Yeah.
True gentleman. I left the door open, and I would have did the same thing of his, but. Something else that, you know, our producer, Colleen Kessler, we have chairs. And I said, hey, Weston, you need a chair? And you said, no, man, I'm good. I want to stand up the whole way. And I like that.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm pumped. Like I said, I've been on the couch for 2 weeks. You know, I can't sit down anymore. I'm just anxious to, like I said, get out there and do something. So.
It's like the Chuck Norris jokes they do with him and stuff. But we didn't want to break the chair, so we took it easy on the chair.
He's a big boy.
But,
he could be playing in the Super Bowl tomorrow down in Phoenix.
Know, right?
Well, you know, your team is one of the more interesting teams in the pits with their NASCAR, you know, connections and stuff. Have you been to their shop and seen how they can personally hand make anything they want to on your bike? And what's the coolest thing you've seen?
The coolest thing is just being in the cup shop and being able to see, like, you know, what really goes into it and how much stuff you can actually make in-house. It's amazing on just the stuff that you can do with people like that, you know, behind you, and just like with making a bike exactly how you want it. It's an awesome thing, and the whole team is just rad, being able to have just stuff at your hands and your fingertips.
And jets to fly you to get your footwork on.
Just to fly you wherever you need.
NASCARs to drive around to go to lunch.
Yeah. Well, I haven't done that yet. I'm still waiting on my NASCAR experience.
So say you can head down and go to Der Wiener Schnitzel. Hey, I want a couple hot dogs during the NASCAR, you know. That's, but you talk about bikes, and we've been a lot of guys, you know, like your bike might not be set up like Justin Barsha, completely, totally the opposite way of how you like a bike set up versus Barsha or versus Phil Nicoletti.
Yeah, exactly. It's you know, for the most part, our bike setups are a lot different. You know what I mean? We're just two different kind of riders, and you know, I think every rider just has their own preference. You know, you can't expect one rider to be the same as another rider. You know what I mean? Unless they're the same weight and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, our bikes are pretty much different. So.
What are you weighing in now, if you don't mind me asking live on camera?
No, I'm 195.
195. So.
You know, a lot of people talk about bikes and 450s and how they say, you know, they can't even get all they want out of a stock motor. That's not true. Your guys' bikes are the fastest ones out there on the track. How fast is that thing?
It's fast. It's gnarly. You know what I mean? I think we've had to slow down a little bit and stuff like that, but it's awesome. You can ride that bike in any gear you want, and it'll do anything you want to do. It's like it's awesome having power that way.
You know, you rode a factory Suzuki last year in the outdoors. Are you looking forward to riding this Yamaha in the outdoor series coming up? Is it going to kill it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm so looking forward to racing outdoors. You know, the bike handle's awesome, and it's incredibly fast to get you through obviously any kind of loam, any kind of dirt, anything like that. So I'm looking forward to getting out there outdoors and tearing it up.
Cool. Well, Weston, thanks for coming on the show with us, man. We really want to see you get back out there.
Yeah, good luck, Weston. Tell your pops I said hi.
Thank you, guys.
Cool, man. And that's going to wrap it up for the 250B group. Looks like it's going to be Wisebrush, number 252 is the fastest, and then we have Howell and Brees and Klockow and Church. That's your top 5.
Yeah, and if you're looking at that, a 104.7, a 104.5, I mean, a little bit longer lap times because of the fact that how everything is as far as how tight it is out here tonight. But, you know, these guys will have another shot at it, and I'm sure the lap times will come a little bit down. But how cool was that for Weston Peick to walk up here and give us an interview? I mean, that was definitely awesome.
Yeah, it's funny. You know, every once in a while on Vital or somewhere in a chat room, they'll have the Chuck Norris quotes, and you know, he doesn't need a bicycle, and he doesn't need anything, you know, crutches or chairs. You know, take it easy on that stuff, and he's a tough guy. Good interview.
And he knew that, you know, when I talked to him during the week after Phoenix, he said he was going to try, and his dad was really saying, like, hey, I don't think we should try it. You know, we should rest Anaheim. But he'll be ready to go in Texas.
Yeah, he'll be ready, and he'll be back, and he'll be fast. Another thing, we're going to be back. So go ahead and grab a beverage, grab a Monster, and stay tuned.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Malcolm Stewart. Come check me out at Race Day Live. Better be there.
And welcome back to Angel Stadium here in Anaheim for round 5. I'm your host, Andy Boyer. This is Jim Hawley. Out there on the track right now, we have the 250C qualifying number 1. That's the Yamaha there. Let's throw a shout out to Yamaha. Attention race fans, check out the reigning national MX champion Yamaha YZ250F and new 2015 YZ454 strokes at YamahaMotorsports.com today. And that commercial you just watched, that's one of my favorite ones of the show. You know, DC Shoes, they're proud to be the official footwear sponsor of AMA Supercross and defy convention with DC Shoes.
You know, something else DC Shoes does that I really liked. I got a chance to see one of the riders lose in the front end there. I'm not sure who that was, but he's back, he's up, he's okay. And is that all the KTM Junior Supercross Challenge kids, they all get a brand new pair of DC shoes. I thought that was pretty cool, the guys at DC.
That's just an awesome program top to bottom with those guys getting to ride those factory bikes and, you know, getting the whole factory experience, going out there on track walk with all their heroes and stuff. And I really like that effort that KTM puts together for them. See that guy triple into the corner there? Man.
Yeah, you got to do stuff like that. I mean, this is the time when, you know, to do it. This is qualifying. If you can nail a section like that, and it gets your confidence up as a rider.
Yeah.
You know when you do something like that, or when you huck the big triple for the first time, now your heart can go down. It's beating at almost 200 beats, you know, before, and then you do it. Now you can relax out there. Now you can kind of try some other things. And I'm not so sure some of these guys in this C250 group here, they don't settle down until they go home at night and sleep.
It's tough, man. I mean, this is the toughest racing in the world, you know, top to bottom. You name any sport. I don't care how bad of an athlete you are, or, you know, look at those whoops. You know, that's impossible to go through those things third gear wide open.
Yeah, and you're going to look at, like we were talking about the lap times on the B, 104s, 105s. Will Ulrich here, he's got a 107. Then you're going to drop down Wilson and Harmon there. They're at 112. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a considerable amount of gap in between the leader and second and third spot that we have here. And then even the leader, he's still a couple seconds behind the B group. So, I mean, these guys have a lot of time. But the main focus for these guys, you know, it's just to try to get in some good lap times and try to get into the top 40 so they get an opportunity to take off. And I would just wick the throttle up myself if I was out there running, because I want to try that start. I'd be bummed out if I wasn't one of the top 40 guys. And what do you mean I don't get a chance to do that start? You know, so that would give me motivation just to try to be one of the 40 fastest. So I want to experience that start.
It's going to be interesting. You know, even Weston, when we asked him about it, he kind of was like, "Wow, you know, I don't know. He had never really done one." So just one small part of this track. We got a heck of a track this weekend.
There's those whoops you were talking about. You're going to do this right-hander. Right after that, you're going to come into another section. That's home plate. That's right kind of behind us here as we see these guys. And it's hard when you're out there and you see yellow flags out there flying. You know, one of your guys, something happened. So you came up a little short on that double getting into there. You got to get over that stuff clean. Believe it or not, every time you kind of come up short on something like that, it takes just a little bit off. That's 6:45 there, I believe, and that's Harmon there. And he's dropped back down to fourth position. Not sure who's helping him out, but Harmon, you know, like I said, he's out there. He's doing all right. Now the times are starting to come down. You see Lilly, he's at a 106, and Ulrich at that 107 still. And then Harmon dropped back down to fifth, and Wilson in that sixth. Yarborough in that seventh, and Bannister in eighth.
And here we are with the 250A group out there. That's Matt Bisceglia. He's back from taking a week off the race. And welcome back to the show, folks. We're sorry for the technical problems. That's, hey, the wonder of the internet, Jim. You know, sometimes things just break.
Things happen out of our control, but not in the control right now. I mean, in control right now, Matt Bisceglia, 38. He looks like he's on a good lap right here, and we'll see when he comes across the monster. There's that triple double we see as he goes into that corner there, but looking good. I know last week wasn't a good weekend for Matt Bisceglia, but we'll see if he can rebound here to Anaheim.
He's got the speed. This is his second year, you know, and he's had a couple good starts, and he could be one of those guys that really surprises. This whole 250 West group is littered with guys like Zach Bell, Matt Bisceglia, you know, Aaron Plessinger, Shane McGrath, guys that we haven't seen get on the podium yet. They can make it happen. They're fast. They get, you know, this guy right here, Chris Aldridge. Wow, you know, he's had some spectacular highlight reel crashes, but he has speed. I say that until I'm blue in the face. You got speed, you got enough.
Yeah, you just got to learn to stay on the motorcycle like we saw last weekend. But getting back to Matt, you know, he didn't ride at Anaheim too. He didn't get no points in Oakland. I think he had an injury.
Right.
It's good to see him back out here. But you'd mentioned Chris Ulrich there, you know, finished up 21st. He was actually leading some things, had great times and things like that. He just needs to stay on the motorcycle and just kind of relax out there a little bit as we see him doing that triple there, carving that inside line there. He looks great on the motorcycle.
Mitch Payton doesn't hire slow guys. You know, he's on that team for a reason. And I keep your eye on this kid. He's going to put it together and put together 15 laps that are going to get him on the podium before this series is over, I think. Let's go ahead and run down our top 10 here. It's Cooper Webb, your fastest, followed by Jesse Nelson. Cooper Webb's lap time is at 59.4. That's flying. Then Nelson, Stewart's in third. Justin Hill's fourth with a minute flat. Fifth is Tyler Bowers. Sixth is Matt Bisceglia. Seventh is Aaron Plessinger. Eighth is, well, they've just switched back and forth there. Now, Plessinger's eighth, Zach Bell's ninth, and Zach Osborne's 10th. They're actually flipping around quite a bit here. So with 4 minutes to go in this 250 qualifying Group A, Cooper Webb and Justin Hill are your top two.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of that flipping around. I talked to Justin Hill after that ride last weekend. You know, he had the thing won, lap 7. He had some problems in the sand right there. But when I was talking to him, you know, he's still congested. He's still sick. He's still battling that sickness. And that's a problem for these guys each and every weekend. You know, and they feel like that, hey, well, Monday, I'm going to take off Sunday and Monday, and then I'm going to get back on a bike on Tuesday. Well, you know, these guys aren't going to get out of shape in 1 week. They don't have to go run. They don't have to go to the gym. They don't even have to be on the motorcycle. Just take a week off and relax.
Yeah, they need to
heal up. That's the key, because what happens is you go out there and you're sweating and you're riding hard in practice, and then you get off, you get cold, you know, you just need to relax for a couple, 3 or 4 days. And if you want to get back out on the motorcycle, maybe a Friday morning before you come here or something like that, but not go out there and hammer a bunch of laps, just kind of go out there and get loosened up a little bit.
And on your screen right here, we have Trevor Reese. He's been going pretty fast lately. He's from Alpine, California. He lists Maximum Oils, Moto World Racing, Answer, and 100% as his sponsors.
Yeah, you look at Reese there, and you look at him, and what I'm
Hill.
looking at is, well, Hill, but I'm looking at now Cooper Webb at a 58.8. This guy is just on fire, no question about it. His speed and his desire and determination to try to win this championship here, and now look who's right behind him.
Yeah,
his old buddy there, Tyler Bowers.
Look at the top 10 though, all the way down to 10th place with a minute flat. That's basically 1 second, you know, separating first through 10. These guys are camped all over each other, but you're right. Webb's got the speed. Bowers is right there, and you know what a storybook tale there. Those guys are at each other's throats, and they're 1 and 2 in the points and 1 and 2 in this practice.
You know, you're looking right here on screen, Jesse Nelson. Yeah. This is a guy that figures, hey, this Anaheim here, it was good to me in round 1. It was good to me the second time I was here. I was leading and I threw it away. Yeah. I'm going to have to rebound here and try to win this one tonight and put myself back up into this championship fight.
It's right.
He's not out of it. He's only
15 points behind.
Yeah, 15 is nothing. Bowers is -8 in second, 15, and then Osborne even sitting in fourth. 17 back. These guys are not out of it by all means.
No. If something happens with Webb and Bowers, if they take each other out, look at Nelson through Malcolm Stewart down in 6th place. There's 7 points from 3rd place to 6th place. You know, if those two get into it and they get into some kind of a takeout fest, this championship is blown wide open. And you got to remember, we have this weekend, next weekend, and then there's almost a 2-month break for these guys.
Yeah, I think if you're Jesse Nelson and Osborne and all the guys you'd mentioned, Malcolm Stewart, I'm thinking you're hoping that 911 and 17 get together and tighten this race up even more. They know it can happen. They saw exactly what Kenny Roczen did last weekend in Oakland.
397 there. That's Brandon Schreier from Gardena, California. Where's he at there? 397 is not showing up in our top 20.
Yeah, it's so hard when these guys are coming in and out of shadows to see the numbers. I'm seeing Gerardo there, 275. That could be possibly been him. And that looks like right there, that looks like...
that's Rice, Trevor Rice. Yeah. Rice? I think it's Rice, R-E-I-S, yeah. He's been riding really good, though. That's a tall kid, too.
Yeah, see that step on, step off. He used the face of the other step on to clear and carry that momentum into that right-hander after that.
And how about Zach Bell on your screen right now? You know, he went out there, got the whole shot last weekend and hung on for a top 5. You know, if you talk about a guy that needed a top 5, Zach Bell needed a good finish really bad.
Well, you know, I talked to him earlier on the track walk today, and that 5th place for him last weekend in Oakland was the best of his career. But most importantly, he's saying, you know what, I really want to just finish a whole Supercross season. You know, he had injuries. He can never go a whole Supercross season. So we'll see if this is it. But you talk about that $1,000 at supercrosslive.com that we put up for that whole shot. Those Huskies, and I'm talking about his teammate, Osborne, he's already collected up to him. His teammate Bell collected up last week. I mean, they've snatched away $3,000 from him.
Those white bikes are pretty fast.
They are fast.
It's really cool, you know, having a new manufacturer jump back into the sport. Just shows things are growing, things are getting better. The racing this year, unbelievable. We knew it was going to be good. We knew the 450 class was going to be good. This 250 class, it's pretty surprising.
Well, we know that this one's over, and it looks like that 58.8 is going to stay for Webb, and Bowers with that 59.3. That looks like it's going to stay, because I see that checkered flag, and I see the finish line in the background says 000 there. It's over for this one. Although Bichelia, he might be trying something. He might still be on the clock. We'll see if he can jump up. He's sitting right now in that 9th position with a minute .5 there.
Ooh, that triple out of that corner is hard on a 250. So Webb's going to be your fastest qualifier here in the first qualifying session. Do you think he's going to have a B word to say over here when he goes to talk to Ashley in a little bit?
No, I think that, like you had talked about, Andy, you saw some tweets that these guys put on. They're good now. I mean, you know, that's the thing about racing. As we see Webb talking down there to the Star Racing boys. Steve Lamson down there, his mechanic.
You're totally correct, Jim. I mean, I did some research on it, and they've texted each other and patched it up. And I don't think they're quite training together, but it's all good, at least until tonight.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. There's Ashley. You see Ashley up on the podium there, and they're waiting. Here comes Cooper Webb jumping up there and getting ready to talk to Ashley.
Well, Cooper Webb is the only rider in the 250 class to get down into the 58-second margin. Cooper, you just look like you're so determined right now. How did you put that lap together out there?
Oh, I just got a clear track. You know, that was one of the toughest things, is there's a lot of guys going for it. One of the laps I think I was going to be a little bit better. I got hung up, but the track's really good. You know, it's really technical, and it fits my style, and put in an awesome week of work this week. And, you know, really just can't thank the man up above, my mom and dad, the whole Star Racing Yamaha, Yamaloop team, Rockstar Energy, Toyota Escondido, my mechanic Eric, just everybody that works so hard to get me where I need to be, and just excited for that #1 spot.
This track is extremely different than the tracks we've seen so far in 2015. Like, we see this whoop section that's taking a lot of riders. What do you do to prepare for that, and how do you sit on your bike?
Yeah, I think they finally built a real Supercross track. I love this technical stuff where it's hard to even make one lap without messing up, and so it's awesome. You know, I think our bike setup's really set up for stuff like this, and the Yamaha test track really seems to they throw some difficult obstacles at you, and so this is right at home.
Is there anything you're going to work on your bike or yourself before you come out for the final qualifying to hopefully get that pole position?
Really just myself. I think I still have a little bit more in the tank, so we'll just see how the next practice is and just go into the night show and hope for another great race.
Well, I hate to see what he looks like with a little bit more in the tank. Congratulations, Cooper Webb will be the fastest one in this practice of qualifying. One more time for the Yamaloop Star Racing Yamaha rider, number 17. He's your current points leader as well, Cooper Webb.
There he is. There's your points leader. He's got the red plate on there and looking pretty good.
Yeah, right behind him, you're going to see Josh Hill there. Josh's been struggling. He hasn't made the main event ever since Phoenix and Anaheim and last weekend. He's struggling out there, and he's struggling with starts. He's getting into that last chance race, and he's getting horrible starts, and you just can't do that.
No, and the clock's ticking on that deal there. I'm pretty sure he only has that ride for the West Coast rounds, and unless he really, really pulls something out of the hat, and just needs to get in the main event. Josh Hill is just as talented as a lot of those guys up there in the top 5. You got to remember, he's won one of these things before. He just needs to get a good start, get some confidence going, and get that Valley Racing Yamaha up there and get in the main event and go.
When we get a chance to, we're at home and we're in front of the computer and we're looking for stats and things like this, I found an interesting thing. The last time Honda has the back-to-back wins, it was Kevin Windham, 2008, St. Louis and Seattle.
Wow.
That's a long time to go without back-to-back wins. Maybe Trey Canard can do that for Honda here tonight.
How about Jake Weimer? He's over there making it happen for Team Tedder and lost his factory ride, but for the opening rounds, he was really riding hard. He was putting that thing in the top 10, and Weimer's another guy like Hill, where he has more talent in his pinky finger than half the field. He just needs to get some confidence, get a start, and make it happen. Weimer can get the job done.
Yeah, he had an 11th last weekend. Not a bad finish, but I got to look at the guy who finished up 10th last week, the Lobo, Jason Anderson. I mean,
he had a crash.
That crash that he had to get back up, and not only the crash for your body, but for the motorcycle to be bent up and to get back up and to still finish in that top 10. Yeah. I thought that was huge as we're looking at Vince Freeze right now, 45.
Yeah, Anderson's fender was flapping, and his jersey was hanging out. It was a tough ride for him. But Freezy, he wouldn't put it in the main event, and that's really all he was asked to do. An interesting note with him, his teammate Michael Essie's back this weekend. I talked to Tony on the track walk, and his knee is not 100%, but they're going to give it a go. And Tony said, hey, if it's not good, if Mike looks like he's riding gingerly out there, I'm going to pull the plug, and we're going to get it fixed. And we're going to come back for outdoors. But Freezy put it in the main event last weekend, and I remember we had a little wager going on who was going to finish better, him or Phil Nicoletti.
Yeah, well, Vince Freeze finished up 16th, and Phil Nicoletti, I'm trying to look, finished up 14th. So not bad for Phil Nicoletti as we're getting a chance to see
Josh Grant.
Gosh,
now
blitzing the whoops.
It's been a nightmare for him this year. I don't really know how to explain it. He's fast. He's won Anaheim before. He's on a factory, Kawasaki, but I don't think he's finished higher than 19th yet through 4 rounds.
Yeah, I think that 21st last weekend, he knows and he's had some pretty good heat races and things like that. But like you had mentioned, I'm sure that when Chad Reed signed him on, that he thought for sure he would be doing a little bit better than 22nd. He had 3 points, and he had 2 points, and then a 1-1. So he's got a total of 7 points after 4 rounds. Not good if you're a factory-supported rider and riding for 22 Motorsports.
No, he's got to pick it up. He's got the speed. He's got the bike. We don't know. I think he had a little bit of a foot injury, at the beginning of the season. But he just put a heater in right there. Where'd that put Josh Grant? Top 6. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. Up top, though, Kenny Roczen with a 58.7. Then right behind him, Ryan Dungey, a 58.8 for Ryan Dungey. So just a tick off of Ken Roxon's time there. And then you got Trey Canard and Seeley, Hill, and they're moving around. And there goes Barsha right up to the top.
Bam Bam, right to the top. You remember last time we were here in Anaheim, he was the fastest qualifier. And that's the thing. I didn't really mean to shake their team down or anything, but I mean, people just expected more out of Barsha. People expected podiums and him leading laps, but man, it's just been tough.
Well, I thought the last time we were here at Anaheim when he finished up 4th, just off the box, I thought, well, okay, let's carry that momentum into Oakland, but then you look at the Oakland finish for him, and yeah, it was a 6th again, you know. So, you know, not a good way.
But this was a good way. He came through the pack, stormed and passed everybody, and won that thing, you know. He said he made some mistakes and got tight down the end, but when, you know, if you're Trey Canard and you've come back from the things he's come back from, you're probably going to think about it a little bit, you know, when you get your first win since 2011. But hey, he's right back in the middle of this championship. He has the speed. You know, he killed him at the Monster Cup, and it's taken him a few rounds to get a. He still hasn't gotten a good start. Yeah, I remember you were talking to him about that. Yeah, maybe this elevated deal will shake it up for him.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Let's hope. That's a nice triple there and double, and then he's going to go over the Monster Energy finish line. You got about 3 minutes to go, a little over 3 minutes to go in this practice session. He's going to look over and look at the monitor and see he's sitting in 3rd. Not bad.
This guy here got a top 5 last week, Cole Seeley. He OJ'd the triple there not halfway, at the beginning of the race, and kind of messed him up for a while. But a top 5, that's where Cole Seeley should be. You know, he's a rookie. He has winning, you know, he's won 250 races. He's a top 5 guy. I really believe that on that factory Honda.
Well, I got to go one better than that, Andy. He's a top 3 guy because he had a 3rd in Indianapolis last year. He knows that he should be having some podiums, and I think that, you know, he was disappointed to start out the season, you know, with a couple 14th place finishes there, and you know, it started to come around for him in Phoenix when he had that heat race, and I thought for sure with that heat race win in Phoenix, but he had a 14th, but you know, he's slowly coming around. He's had a couple top 10 finishes, like you said. He had a 5th last weekend in Oakland there. He seems to be looking pretty comfortable, gelling with the team.
Yeah, and the factory Hondas look good this year. You know, I like the blue hues they put on them. You know, HRC's jumped back into the game with those cats, and now they got a win. I've actually had 2 wins. You know, you got to remember Tomac's on a factory Honda as well. He's under the Geico awning, but that's very much a factory bike.
Well, and you mentioned that Geico Honda team, Malcolm Stewart. I mean, when's the last time you saw Honda win the 250 class and 450? You got to go a ways back for that, but that was a good win for Honda last week in both classes, and there's Phil Nicoletti, 46 there, kind of circling around out there. And, you know, not a bad way. I talked to him a little bit. I said, hey, man, you had to come through that last chance race to get it into the main event. He says, yeah, I know. I made some mistakes in that semi. But I think with the format that they have with a heat race, a semi, and a last chance, as we're getting a chance to watch Chad Reed now, that gives Phil Nicoletti a little bit more racing time. And I think he's comfortable when he has that.
I do too. I think Phil's more of an outdoor guy anyways, but he's fast enough to get in the top 10 in 450 Supercross. But, you know, Reed, how about that guy? You know, halfway through that race last weekend, he had put put in some of the fastest laps of the whole main event. He's only sitting 9th right now, but he looks like he's putting a heater on. So
yeah, he's on a heater right now. Well, it'll be interesting to see if he can. It's a 59.2 for Chad Reed right now. Let's see if he can better that time, a 59.2.
He went triple out of that section there. That was pretty nasty. And there's Jimmy Albertson, top Jimmy right there. He's going to be wanting to get into that main event. Back on a Yamaha. You know, early in his career, Jimmy Albertson rode Yamahas, and back on that bike, and got some support from Arma Energy Drink, and driving to all the races. You know, he's definitely not a factory guy.
Yeah, you look at Ryan Dungey now up at the top of 58.1 for Ryan Dungey, Canard of 58.2, and then Kenny Roczen of 58.3.
And folks, AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil delivers maximum horsepower, bulletproof wear protection, and consistent clutch feel for the confidence you need to get on it, get after it, and stay out front. AMSOIL, out front performance. Visit amsoil.com/dirtbike to learn more. There's Baggett. It's going to be cool to talk to Mike Webb. You know, they've been through quite a bit, that team has this year. And, well, you know, they got a new rookie here with Baggett, and I know those guys are just kind of quietly waiting for the outdoors to get here because Baggett is a beast in the outdoors.
Well, and I think they were happy with last weekend when he finished up in that 7th position in Oakland. I think that,
for sure,
you know, you're going to see Baggett. You know, you got to remember he's a rookie. He really doesn't know how to race against these guys in the 450, and especially at the start. You know, he doesn't know if I go in there and push guys or, you know, am I going to get pushed back? Well, we can answer that. Absolutely, you're going to get pushed back. It's a little bit different than the lights class. These guys are out here. This is their bread and butter, and when you move up to that 450 class, if you push someone, you better be expected to be pushed back.
That's right. Well, he's in the top 10 in the speed here, and that's not bad for him in this qualifying session. The checker flag is out. Let's see if Tomac here, who's may or may not be putting in a flyer here, but Dungey, hey, I think he's got a fire lit under his butt. You know, he's got the points lead, he's got the red plate, he's back at Anaheim, he's won this event before, a 58-1. You know, like you said, Dungey, Canard, Roczen, Barsha, Tomac, that's your top 5.
Yeah.
We're going to go down to the podium. Lurch has Dungey right now.
Yeah, you know, I think they're going to work it, get a little bit better. But, yeah, they did a good job building this track and feel good out there. You know, everything feels like it's flowing and pretty dialed. So maybe, if anything, a few minor things, but we'll keep building on that.
You know, the whoops, this first thing this morning, a lot of guys struggling through those. Are they starting to break down where you can get some good runs through them?
Yeah, they're breaking down, but at the same time, they're really edgy. And you got to be careful not to catch a rear tire and slip off one, and then it gets a little hairy after that. But overall, you know, the bike feels good through it. So, you know, it's probably going to get more and more slippery as it goes, so they'll get tougher. But yeah, KTM Rebel, they're doing a good job and got everything feeling pretty good.
What are your thoughts on the elevated start?
I've never done one before. So it's new to me, something that's different. I've never seen it in all my years of Supercross, and that's about 9, so if that gives you an idea. But it's interesting. They're switching things up, and I think it's for you fans and to better the sport.
Well, congratulations on taking over the red background number plate. He's our points leader in the 450. Let's give it up for the Red Bull KTM of Ryan Dungey.
You got to give it up for a guy that says.
There's Ronnie Stewart jumping out there for the 450B group. You know, Ronnie got into the main events, you know, toward the end of the season last year and hasn't got in yet. It's just tough this year, Jim.
Well, the thing about it is it's tough and everybody's healthy except for a few guys that are already out, but they replace them with just as tough guys. I mean, if you got Weston Peick out, you fill him with Phil Nicoletti, so it's making it hard for the privateer guys. But, you know, I look for Ronnie Stewart to, you know, he's got to step it up here in the next couple rounds here.
Ronnie Stewart, and then their number 70, Nick Schmidt. You know, he was getting into a lot of main events last year and hasn't made it happen yet. And, you know, we've had 5 guys that aren't racing in the 450 class tonight. You have Will Hahn, Dean Wilson, Weston Peick, Brock Tickle, and I'm missing a guy too. But, you know, sadly, that number's going to get bigger instead of smaller. It's just Supercross, and that's why we fill these stadiums and people tune in to watch. It's a dangerous business, but. And folks, if you want to win, MMI and AMSOIL have teamed up to give you a chance to win a replica of Kevin Windham's Honda CRF 450R Supercross bike. Go to www.winkevinsbike.com for your chance to win. MMI, the official technical institute of Monster Energy Supercross.
And we're not eligible for that contest, right?
No, I wish we were. I want
I'd like
that bike.
to enter in. Yeah, that'd be a nice bike. You had a chance to go riding this week.
I
You're
did.
on a KTM ride day at Hollister. You got a chance to see your old stomping grounds there.
One of my favorite tracks in the whole country, or, you know, any country. Hollister Hills GP track. It was a KTM dealer ride day, and anything from a 125 to a 150 all the way to the 450 we got to test out. You know, it's like, Jim, anytime you spend an afternoon on a dirt bike with your buddies, it's hard to beat.
Well, and you changed your dirt bike in. You brought your lovely girlfriend, Mandy. She came all the way out from Orlando to grace our presence here on the set of Race Day Live and check out a Supercross Live.
It's awesome to have her here. She's having a good time over there, and it'll be fun to watch races tonight. That's why she's here. She's like, hey, this stuff's pretty cool on television on Fox Sports 1. I want to go watch myself.
Yeah, you know, I was kind of telling her, look, you've seen Andy enough, you've seen my ugly mug enough. You need to go out into the party in the pits and go out there and have some real fun out there. That's where there's a lot of fun. You know, not only to come to watch qualifying, but also when they have that intermission to get out there and go to the party in the pits. Excellent out there.
And we want to thank you guys for tuning in, all of our viewers. We want to thank your international viewers especially. You know, use your hashtags, who's next, and supercrosslive.com, Race Day Live. Send us some pictures of what you're doing right now. Are you sitting on your bike? Are you in your living room? Let's check you out, and we'll put you on the front page of our website.
You know, a lot of our foreign listeners are here. I know Masaki Suzuki and 3 of the other Kama and a couple other Japanese guys that listen to us. They're over here training. They're here. I know some Patrick and Max from Sweden. They listen to us. They're actually here. They want to get some sunshine. They hear us. I said, well, why are you coming here to Anaheim? Well, we want to come to Anaheim. We want to go to that new one at Petco Park next weekend in San Diego. And we want to come out here and do some riding because it's too cold in Sweden. And, you know, the same with a buddy of mine, Kimmer. He gave me a call. He was in Colorado listening to us last week. And I want to give a shout out to Angelina Marie. She listens to us a lot. And she actually plugs her computer in and watches us on the big screen, she was telling me. But it's her birthday. We want to say happy birthday to her.
Absolutely. Happy birthday, girl.
Hopefully these guys can make some changes and get that bike into the main event there. And I'm talking about 9:18 there. Nice jump
That's
for him.
Michael Akadin from Louisville, Kentucky. How about that? He's sponsored by Storm Lake Honda, Buddy Brooks Racing, Ty Lube, Fly Racing, and Tom Zont Racing, and Works Connection. 9:18. Where's he at here? He's 12th place.
Yeah,
so
not bad. And you're going to see a yellow flag that just came up right in front of him. One of the riders off to the side of the whoops there. But that's that whoop section. Now you're going to do a right-hander and jump right into it there.
And folks, the same AMSOIL products that help put the racers in the winner's circle are the same products available to you. AMSOIL makes a full line of oils not only for your power sports toys, but also for the cars and trucks you drive. Choose AMSOIL Performance for any engine.
You got a chance earlier today. Look who's up at the top. Kyle Partridge there with a 1 minute .8. Right behind him is AJ Catanzaro with a 1:01. And AJ's made a main already this year, but didn't make it last weekend. He said, I had some problems in that last chance race.
I'm going to throw out a guarantee and say Kyle Partridge makes the main event tonight just because of how fast he is in the whoops. You know, we say that a lot just because he's tall, but he really is that fast in the whoops. When there's a back-to-back section like we're going to have here tonight, he's going to be flying through there, and he's going to put that number 199 in the main event. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, and you look at it, you know, he's sitting 27th in the points. He didn't make the Anaheims or Phoenix or Anaheim too, but he did make Oakland last weekend and scored some points. And another guy making Supercross last weekend in Oakland, Fredrik Noren from Sweden, made his first 450 main event. So he's riding with a lot of confidence. I know Guy Cooper is helping him out over there.
And on your screen right now we have Alex Ray. He comes to us from Milan, Tennessee. It's a long drive over here.
Yeah, Kevin Barnett and I, we used to call him Pinky because he had all that JT pink gear on, pink helmet. But Alex Ray is a great competitor. Now, you know, just hoping he can get that number 314 in the main event. Not a bad. He's sitting 8th right now, a minute 4. I know he'd like to take a little bit off of that, but if you look at it, he's at least 1 ahead of Tevin Tapia. Tevin Tapia has made the main before.
Well, for all you French fans out here, on your screen right now is Jason Claremont. He's from Plessé, France. I guess Plessé is how you say it there. But it's awesome having these guys come across the seas and race some Supercross.
There's that sand section right there. You see, not quite as big of a sand section we had like last week in Oakland or back here on the 17th, but a little bit of sand nevertheless.
I like them. I think they're great for television, great for racing, great for passing. Some of the riders might not tell you that they like them, but hey, you know, Justin Hill will darn sure tell you he doesn't like them. That's where he threw the race away last weekend. But
well, I like them for some of the still photos that some of these guys get. I mean, you see the big roost, but on the other hand, if you're a rider behind there and you got that big roost and it's getting into your goggles, they don't like the sand section.
Pulling tear-offs. And AJ Catanzaro, the cat, as Steve Mathis from Pulpit Mex calls him. You know, Steve Mathis, he's if you want to go to get a nickname, go to him. He passes out nicknames pretty good. So Catanzaro here, he is second with a 1 minute, 1 second, .6. Let's go through your top 5. It's still Kyle Partridge with a 1 minute flat. Then Catanzaro, Nick Schmidt, Ronnie Stewart, and Fredrik Noren are your top 5 in the 450B qualifying group number 1. All 5 of those guys are main event, you know, contenders.
Yeah, 103 there. That's the man from Australia. That's Manet there, putting in an Adam Entignap. Got a chance to talk to him a little bit on the track walk. I know Wanda has been a big-time supporter. She can't be here, but hoping he can get that 7 deuce. You know, he's got his own website. He's got his own T-shirts and things like that.
He does.
I mean, he really knows how to market himself, Adam Entignap, with that 7 deuce racing.
And they ought to have a picture of Sasquatch if he's selling T-shirts. That's a big cat. Big old dude. Nice guy, too. Always fun to have an interview with Adam.
There's Raper right behind him in that 8th spot, and then Ray and Tapia rounds out that top 10, and Keelan Rusk right there in 11th. So these guys are all putting in some good times.
They are. There's Dylan Bauer on a Yamaha there. And folks, if you're ready to turn the corner, check out the national champion Yamaha YZ250F and super nimble YZ450F at YamahaMotorsports.com today. And Bauer there lists his sponsors as Triple Effect Graphics, A&J Oilfield Services, Mom and Dad, always got to thank Mom and Dad, Fly Racing, and Gateway RV.
58 there, that's Keelan Rusk. We're getting a chance to watch him. We got about less than a minute to finish up in this B 450 qualifying section, but let's ride along with Keelan Rusk.
He's fast. I watched him last weekend. He can get around the track really, really well.
Yeah, he's got a lot of good people helping him out. Keelan Rusk, number 58 there. And
he sure does. Yeah, that's Slater Skins and Blue Buffalo Yamaha, Rusk Racing decals, AXO, and National Hail and Dent Repair.
See, that way cool there, if he gets in a crash in his van or whatever, he can have his sponsor fix up the car for him.
Do a little PDR and get it fixed up. We got 10 seconds to go here.
Now that looked like it was a good lap time for Keelan Rusk. Let's see, yeah, see he jumped up to that 9th position there, a 103.8 for Keelan Rusk on that last lap. That's a good time for him.
Absolutely. These are some actually pretty good times here in this 450G group. The checker flag's out though, and it's going to be Kyle Partridge, your fastest guy in this group.
See how the track, Andy's starting to dry out a little bit there. We're getting a little bit of wind here in the stadium, and we got a lot of sunshine. So the Feld track crew, they're going to have their work cut out for them to put a little moisture into this track.
Well, they've been watering it a bunch. When I was walking it last night, it was muddy, and I know they put in thousands of gallons again today.
There's Bauer, 187 there. He's a little bit down, sitting 14th, and 106.4 for him.
It looks pretty good though, as far as Anaheim goes. You know, there's a few dry spots out there, but. And folks, DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of AMA Supercross. Defy convention with DC Shoes. That's it. That's it for this 450B group. They'll be back again for their second qualifying effort. And you know, I'm telling you, Partridge is going to be fast tonight.
Yeah, he's, you know, did you get a chance to ask him about that 199? I was curious about that. Did he call Travis and hey, Travis, you mind if I take that 199?
I didn't. I wish I would have, you know, but that's
we'll
pretty
save it for another time.
Yeah. You know,
I'm sure he probably called Travis, and Travis such a happy-go-lucky guy. Hey, I don't race Supercross no more. Go ahead. Hope it brings good luck to you.
Speaking of a happy-go-lucky guy, Ken Roczen is going to be one of the featured people on the Monster Energy Supercross Behind the Dream Episode 2 tomorrow. That's a really cool show that they have going on. It's going to be cool seeing him behind the scenes with Carey Hart and his dad, who's been training with, and see what Ken's like away from the bike. You know, he's a pretty interesting cat. He's a German. He's comes from a different place that you and I grew up, and it's going to be cool. And here's some previews from that show that's going to air tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern Time.
What's up? I'm David Millsaps with Monster Energy Kawasaki, and you're watching Race Day Live.
All right, folks, and you're back here watching action live at Angel Stadium here, round 5 at the 2015 Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship and FIM World Championship. I tell you what, Jim, round 5, you know, things are going to start tightening up. You know, you don't start thinking about, you know, the real big picture, but you know, the landscape of both classes, especially in that 250 West group where they're only going to have 2 more races before their big break. Those guys are going to be going for it.
Yeah, I kind of remember one thing that kind of stuck in my head years ago in talking with Ricky Carmichael and Jeremy McGrath and guys like that. They say really that for the 450 class, a championship really don't start. I mean, yeah, we got the rounds out here, and it's great racing and everything. Don't get me wrong, and it all adds up. But he says, hey, look, when we hit that Atlanta and the halfway mark.
Daytona,
That's when Daytona. That's when hey, you better have all your ducks in a row. You better be done with your testing because it's a run to Vegas. And I've always kind of listened to that, and I looked at it, and in talking with Kenny Roczen today, and that mistake that he made last weekend, he says, it's still early enough. This is only round 5, of 17. We still have a lot of time, and it's not like I did I made that mistake, and yeah, I'm still in the hunt. It's not like I'm down 20 or 25 points, but you can't make those mistakes after Daytona or later on, because those will be huge.
And that's another guy we've been talking about earlier was Justin Barcia. He's had a slow start, but he's still got time, lots of time.
And these guys still have a lot of time. 6 minutes and 45 seconds for Nagy out there. A 105 for him, not bad. Butler, a 106. And this is the thing that we've talked about. It's kind of been a trending thing that, hey, there's only 10 guys out there. This is the practice I would want to be in if I'm learning. I don't want to have all those guys around me. And you can see that they're not running into a lot of guys. So they're able to lay down some good, clean laps here in this 450 C group qualifying.
Yeah, it's crazy. That guy looks like he's riding really good. It's hard to believe. That's Pulley. He is 12 seconds off the pace he was last lap. I think he'll cut that in half and maybe run a 105 or a 106. But it just goes to show you how fast Reed and Tomac and Roczen and Dungey and Grant and Millsaps and on down the list. How fast all those guys are. These guys are riding good.
No, these guys they're the top Supercross riders in the world. Just because they got 3 digits on their motorcycle, maybe they can't put a timing section together like Trey Canard or Millsaps or these guys. But my hats are off to these guys for even getting out here and giving it a shot and getting into the trying to get into the top 40.
And there's Thurison. He just looked over his shoulder to see how good his lap was, and he jumped right to the top of this group. Yeah, he comes to us from Sweden, Jim.
Yeah, and he's looking over. He says, hey, my fellow countryman, Frederick Norn, he did it last weekend. I can do it this weekend here at Anaheim.
What's going on over there, Jim? How come we have so many cats from Sweden showing up lately?
Well, I just think that it's it goes in phases. I mean, look at when we had Villemin and Pichon and all those guys, the French guys, and then we had the Australian invasion with Chad Reed and Michael Byrne and guys like that, and Metcalf and Moss and all that. I think just kind of now it's the Swedes' turns. They're tired of being in the snow and watching Supercross at home in January and February, so they're saying, why not come here? I mean, if I'm a professional rider and I'm in Sweden, I don't want to be stuck in Sweden this time of year. I want to come out west. I want to ride. I want to have fun. I want to try to make some main events. And that's going to help me out when the Swedish National Championships come back, or if they're riding the MX2 or MX1 World Championships. I mean, why not? You're a professional rider. Come out here, have some fun, enjoy life. Yeah. Come over here. What an experience for these kids. I mean, they're probably looking at Torsten Hallman and Ralph Tiblin and all these Swedes before them. Hakan Anderson and all these guys, Hakan Karlquist. I mean, the Swedes, they're deep. I mean, they know how to ride motorcycles over there.
Yeah, it's cool to have them. It's just cool to be here. It's awesome. Like we say every weekend, Jim, you and I, we consider ourselves the luckiest fans in this sport. We love sitting here talking to you guys on Saturday, talking about practice and qualifying. Once again, if you're tuning in, use your hashtags. Take a picture of yourself sitting here watching us. Use your hashtags, Who's Next, Supercross Live, Race Day Live. We want to thank AMSOIL. AMSOIL is the official oil of Loretta Lynn's, AMSOIL Arena Cross, and Monster Energy Supercross. It's not only the official oil, but AMSOIL products have been tested in the most extreme conditions at the track and on the trail to ensure they are formulated for superior dirt bike performance. Get out front performance with AMSOIL. We got to remember, AMSOIL Arena Cross is over in Nashville tonight. They raced last night and put on a heck of a show. Those guys have been having a good time.
Yeah, that Thorensen, some of his riders that are helping him out from Sweden, Troy Lee Designs, Hancock A and B. Now that's got to be a European company, AB like that. A lot of these guys, they rely on a lot of those people. But you'd mentioned that the AMSOIL Arena Cross guys. I mean, I think it's pretty cool that Kyle Rigo came away last weekend in Colorado with a 3-1 to get his overall. Robert Canary in second there with a 2-4. and then Jacob Hayes on that Cowie with a 5.2. And Daniel Blair won the lights class on a KTM there, and this weekend they're in Nashville. And I think it's interesting, Matt Gerke with 140 points, no wins. Hayes in second, 128, 3 wins, and then Kyle Rigo, 109 with 2 wins in that third spot there. That series, we talked about who's next here.
Yeah.
Well, when, Tyler Bowers, the 4-time AMSOIL Arena Cross champion, moved over to Supercross, that just opened the door up over there. Hey, who's next over there? And by looking at the results, you don't know. And I think it'd be pretty cool if someone could win the AMSOIL Arena Cross championship without even getting a win.
Well, you got to remember,
just being consistent.
They reset that thing with the chase format with 6 races to go. And I was able to talk with Kyle Rigo, and I was like, "What are you thinking about with the championship?" He's like, "Well, not much right now. I'm glad to have a win, but when they reset that bad boy with 6 races to go, then it's Katie bar the door. It's open for anybody."
Yeah.
You're exactly right, Jim. Who's next? Bauer's not there. It could be Gorky. I really look at Gerke to actually win that thing. He's got a huge amount of talent.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's won some outdoor nationals. He's had great rides in Supercross here and things like that. I think that, you got to put your money on Gerke, but you can't count out the Chris Bloss and the Monster Energy Babbitt's riders. You can't forget about those guys. I mean, a lot of those guys out there are just, chomping at the bit to get out there and race. And the thing about it is their final goes down in Las Vegas. They go all the way down to Las Vegas. They're at South Point Arena when we were in town for our finals at Sam Boyd Stadium. This one's about over there, about 55 seconds left, and you can see some of the guys, they're just kind of rolling the whoops out there, just kind of, hey, all right, we're good. These times are going to hold up. Nagy jumps back up ahead of the Swede with a 55.5. And the Swede's right alongside him with a 55.587. So very close in this practice.
Mandersheet there in 4th. He's from Iowa. Always cool to see you guys from the Midwest drive all the way out here.
Another Swede, correct me if I'm wrong, but Robert Lynn, 869, also from Sweden, Robert Lynn there. So we got 2 Swedes in this practice.
And folks, if you want to win, MMI and AMSOIL have teamed up to give you a chance to win a replica of Kevin Windham's Honda CRF 450R Supercross bike. Go to www.winkevinsbike.com for your chance to win. MMI is the official technical institute of Monster Energy Supercross. That's a cool program. Every weekend we talk to guys that win the MMI Top Tech, and they get that $1,000 check. And they're graduates of that school from Phoenix and Orlando, and they're going right into good jobs.
Yeah, that's, I've always been a firm believer with Terry Emig and the boys over there that, the riders are, the guy on top of the motorcycle is doing a great job, but there's a guy that's tuning those wrenches that I think that really doesn't get the credit that they deserve. And I really like the MMI Top Tech Award because it just shows that, hey, what adversity these guys have to go through to get these machines prepared to ride in Supercross.
We were able to speak with Zimmerman, who won the MMI Top Tech Award last weekend, and here's what he had to say.
Andy Boyer with Race Day Live, presented by AMSOIL. We're here with Brandon Zimmerman, Zach Freeberg's mechanic. They had a good race in Anaheim, too. They got a 12th place finish, but along the way, you guys had some diversity. You guys had all kinds of things going on. You were in the MMI Top Tech Mechanic Award for your efforts, but tell us a little bit about what you guys were doing.
Well, we had a lot of trouble in first practice. We warmed the bike up, and everything was good, and then Zach headed down for the tunnel, and we're having some bike issues. Some electrical problems, so we ended up missing first practice, had to get those diagnosed, and we ended up making it out for second practice. It was a lot of work, though.
Yeah, I bet. Well, you've come through the MMI program yourself, haven't you? Where did you go to school, in Florida or Phoenix?
I went to MMI Phoenix.
Cool. So you've used some of those tools that you learned to get this bike back on the starting line and going?
Oh, for sure, yes.
That's awesome. Are you right-handed?
Yes, sir, I am.
All your ink's on the right side there. We're noticing that. So is this a new team for you? How long have you been with this organization?
Yeah, this is a new team. I just started this season with Zach Freeberg, and before that I was working for other guys. But yeah, it's great around here at Strix Lake and Yamaha.
You guys looking for a top 10, and how's he feeling? You looking to move up the ladder a little bit?
Yeah, Zach's feeling really good. I really feel like we've just kind of been having some troubles getting to where we feel like we need to be, but I for sure see us in the top 10.
So you got that $1,000 Happy Gilmore check from MMI. Did you have any fun with it this week? What'd you do?
It was actually another busy week, as every week is. So no real time yet.
I saw you laughing with your team manager there, Danny. What were you guys talking about?
Oh, we were just actually talking about what I'd spend the money on.
Cool. Well, that's Brandon Zimmerman, another MMI graduate, making it happen here at Monster Energy AMA Supercross.
And welcome back to the show, folks. We have a special guest for you guys. Zach Ames is here joining us from Ohio. How's it going, Zach?
Hey, not too bad. Glad to be here.
Cool. Welcome to Race Day Live. Man, you got a bum arm I see here. What happened?
Yeah, it was the second weekend in practice on Friday. I had a pretty bad get off in the whoops, and I put my arm out to catch me, but it just snapped my wrist backwards. Dislocated my wrist and pulled some ligaments and tendons and stuff. So just trying to get that healed up so I can get back out there.
You got to be bummed. I mean, you were one of, we always talk about Supercross, who's next, and over at the AMSOIL Arena Cross, you know, with Bowers over here, there's who's next, and you were his teammate and everything. I mean, I was counting you as who's next.
Yeah, me too. You know, last year me and Tyler had we had a pretty good year. I led the series for quite a while, and you know, I had him tailing me and chasing me, and that was a pretty cool feeling. And seeing what he's doing out here, you know, it's just making me want to be out here even more. So, no, I'm excited to watch tonight, and I'm pretty bummed to be watching, honestly. But no, it's going to be fun.
Are you surprised at some of the Huskies? We see the Huskies performing well here in Supercross, but also in the AMSOIL Arena Cross. I mean, I'm talking with Kyle Rigo winning last weekend with that 3-1 in Colorado.
Yeah, no, the Huskies are good bikes. You know, I talked to Zach actually today on Track Walk, and you know, he's impressed with it. He's happy with his. And I talked with Regal the first round, and he didn't get to ride his race bike or nothing until practice on the first round. And you know, he loves it. Him and Gavin Faith, his teammate, they both love the bike. So it's good for Husqvarna.
That's good for them. Let's talk about your team, though. You're a member of Babbitt's Kawasaki. That is the powerhouse organization in AMSOIL Arena Cross. Your teammate, you know, stepped in, Matt Gorky. He's leading that thing. Tell us about your team and what kind of effort are they putting, you know, underneath you this year?
No, Team Babbitt's, you know, Denny Bartz and Eddie Babbitt, they run a strong team. It's the premier Arena Cross team, and this would be my third year on it. And no, I'm just happy. Everything flows. The team's good. You know, the vibes are up there. The bikes are phenomenal. You know, we have a lot of preseason testing and you know, trial and error stuff and figuring stuff out.
It's pretty much a full factory effort, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a factory-backed Kawasaki team, and you know, from the support from, you know, Ryan Holiday, you know, Reed Nordine, all the Cowie guys. You know, it's a fun program to be a part of. And you know, I'm bummed I'm not out there. I was really happy with my bike, but you know, I'm happy that our team stepped up, and you know, they're going 1-2 right now, and you know, they're having a good time.
Let me ask you this. Something different with the AMSOIL Arena Cross Series this year. It's finishing up in Las Vegas, and it's going a lot further. It's going all the way to May. In years past, we've seen it kind of in. Some of the guys come over and ride Supercross. I was just curious on your thoughts about that.
You know, I wish it. I don't know. It's kind of good and bad. You know, it's a double-edged sword. But I wish that they would end before East Coast started, like they used to, so guys could get their points, and then we could actually do the full Supercross season, you know, the full East Coast, you know, and be a part of that points and that championship program. Because I think we can, there's some guys in Arena Cross that can do damage in Supercross as well.
Yeah, it's been pretty obvious. Look at what Tyler Bowers is doing. He's only 8 points out of the championship, you know, and he won that race at Vegas last year. I raced Arena Cross myself, and you know, I can tell you the guys I raced against, they were bad dudes. Denny Stevenson, Buddy Antonez, Jimmy Gaddis. You know, those guys can get it done. Yep. What about yourself, Zach? Do you got, you know, you focus on Arena Cross, or you want to get up here to Supercross?
You know, I started out in Arena Cross when I was 16, and then I went to Supercross. I did 3 years of Supercross then, and then I got picked up on another Arena Cross team, and I've just been doing that ever since. But the past 3 years, I've lived in California, and is actually Tyler Bowers' roommate, and you know, trained together, you know, did all that together. But I actually haven't rode an Arena Cross track during the week until, you know, race day. So we've been practicing on the Cowie test tracks and you know, Elsinore, Milestone, you know, tracks like that. So it's just mainly Supercross. And you know, Supercross, it's better for me, I think. You know, widen up the turns. You know, you can actually plan out your attack a little bit better. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, you seem to be pretty good at both of them, man. So that's working for you. But you know, you're injured, so I know you've been watching, you know, the races on television and stuff. And our big theme this year is who's next. Who do you think's next? Who's going to win this championship? It's all over the map right now.
It's Tyler Bowers, man.
There you go. Well, I was going to ask you about Tyler Bowers with that. He went underneath last weekend in Oakland and put a move on Cooper Webb. It's nothing that you're no stranger to that. I mean, you've taken some of that. What do you think's going through, like Webb, when you guys get hit by Bowers like them? He's a big boy.
Yeah, I've been on the other end of that. I've been in Cooper's position with him before, and I've been in Tyler's position against him. But no, that pass, as a racer, I seen it happen, and Cooper was split second. He was cutting down under, I think it was Bell, but
he was trying to square underneath another rider, and Bowers is coming in.
And if you watch Tyler going into the corner, it's that step on, step off, and he just clipped it, and his back tire's not on the ground. Like, he's trying to brace for it.
Yeah.
He's seen it coming, but it's just an unfortunate accident, and no, people took it the wrong way, and message boards and stuff like that. But no, that's arena cross racing. That's a tight corner. We have that all the time. Guys coming in, getting hit. We just brush it off, take off, and put it behind us. So. Yeah. That kind of stuff happens all the time in arena cross.
Yeah, and he was his roommate too. So think about that. You're banging bars in arena cross, and you got to go home, man. Got to get up. You're eating cereal the next morning. You're just kind of looking over at each other.
Well, man, it's an amazing show you guys have going on with the Arena Cross Series. You guys were selling out all your venues. That's got to be awesome. I know you're bummed that you're not racing, but it's got to feel good to be a part of a show that's selling things out and just rocking the stadiums.
Yeah, definitely. The atmosphere in Arena Cross is great. It's so compact with the arenas being small that you can't even hear yourself think. Like, the crowd's getting into it. The fans are, they're ecstatic.
My boy Wes Kane does a pretty good job.
Wes Kane pumps everybody up. He's a great announcer. That's just the atmosphere. You're in there, like, you're the show, and you actually feel like the show with that. And it's great. The opening ceremonies is good. Just the whole pyro. Just all around show it's a good one to come to.
That's interesting. You brought that point up as we're getting a chance to watch the KTM Junior Supercross Challenge out here. That's a good program. I know you guys experienced some of that in the Amsoil Arena Cross Series. They went over and did some racing over there also. But you talk about the noise. Do you wear earplugs when you race? I know some guys do, some guys don't.
Yeah, some guys do. I went back and forth with them a few years ago, but no, I like to listen to my bike and hear what my bike does, because I judge some stuff off what my bike sounds like coming out of a corner or like right before the jump. So I tried that, but I tend to steer away from earplugs.
Well, talking about things that you've tried, have you ever tried anything like that? A 6-foot elevated start? What are those guys going to do on that thing tonight?
I don't know. It's gonna be tricky. Some guys are probably gonna launch off of it, and other guys are gonna accelerate down it. But I raced. I was fortunate enough to race for Marisol Rios in Costa Rica this summer and the summer before, and we had a couple tracks where they were elevated and dropped off. And no, it gets tricky, guys. You lose the front, so you're going wherever you're pointed, and going off a jump.
What about the whole shot device? Do you use it, or?
Yeah, you use it. Definitely.
So if you drop down, it doesn't disengage?
If you drop down, it might disengage, whether how hard you hit or vice versa. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah. Maybe we'll talk to the Feld track crew and see if we can't get that for the Amsoil Arena Cross Series maybe later on this year or next year. Cool. We'll see how it works in Supercross first.
And check out the dual whoop sections we have going on here. What do you think that's going to do to create for passing opportunities?
I like it. My forte is whoops, and with arena cross, if you're not good at whoops, you're going to have a hard time because that's one of the main sections. We only have 3 lanes, but with 2 sections of whoops back to back, you're going to see the taller, stronger guys prevail. I think tonight.
Your boy.
Well. There's a few guys that are really good at whoops. Cooper's good at whoops too. He's super small, and I watched him today. He gets to him really good. So it's going to wear some guys out and make for exciting racing. And plus, with all the tabletops, there's a lot of
tabletops. Yeah, we were just talking about that. Look, it's a tabletop palace out there, man.
Yeah.
And that creates tripling opportunities or jump on, jump off. And this is a pretty crazy track, don't you? Not crazy, but technical.
It's super tight and technical. And with 2 whoop sections back to back, all the tabletops. I know when I hit tabletops, I'm holding my breath. Stepping off of them. It's tricky, and to do that for 15 laps, put everything together, it's going to be a war of attrition, Yeah,
you mentioned some of those step on and step off. It's not only using your throttle, but sometimes you have to use your upper body and your legs and squat down and kind of actually pick up the jump. Yeah,
get
It's
to the
gnarly
next
out
one.
there.
Yeah,
I mean, I think those will be good sections tonight. You know, some guys, like you said, step on, step off. Other guys will use the face of one to launch and land on the downside. It just depends on what happens is it presents itself for great racing. If you make a mistake in that timing section, you can seat hop something and get out of it and get going again.
Right. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting to watch tonight. I'm pretty pumped.
What about that 450 class? You know, Chad Reed got a podium last weekend. Canard wins the thing. Roczen blows his face up.
Yeah.
Dungey's leading the points. What do you see happening there, man?
It's chaos. It's about like the lights class. You know, guys are hungry. You know, Reed's hungry. You know, after that black flag deal, I think it sparked him up and fired him up, and he wants to come back and prove to these guys that, no, he deserves to be up there.
You think it can win?
I think he can win, honestly. Yeah. You know, he's a good technical rider, and with the track the way it is tonight, I think he can put the laps together. And, you know, I'm not counting Dungey out either. He's always strong with
leading the points.
Yeah. You know, he's always right there.
Fastest in the time practice.
Fastest in time. You know, I seen him on his fast lap, and I'm like, yo, Tyler, check this out. Like, he's gonna go to the top.
You watched his heater, yeah.
Yeah, I seen him
tell.
too. Yeah. But no, all those guys. Barsher's throwing it down. He, you know, he looks strong and confident. So it's going to be crazy.
It is. It's going to be good. But what's your timeline like, Zach? How long are you going to be laid up? When are you going to be back?
I'm shooting for 2 more weeks, so I think we have Easter off, and after Easter I'll be back.
Well, good. You still got some races to win this year.
Yeah, with the way they do Arena Cross with the points reset, all you have to do is be in top 10, and then at that time they reset 1st through 10th, and there's a 6-point gap. So all the years before, I've been kind of mad that you know, I got all my points taken away and all that, but hopefully it works out to the better.
So you still have a chance to get in that top 10 and make the chase, right?
Yeah, the chase. You just have to be top 10 in points for when the chase resets, and then
with 6 rounds to go.
With 6 rounds to go, yes, and you have a chance for the championship.
Well, shoot, man, it's never a good time to get injured, but it sounds like you can still make this year work out for yourself, man, and your Babbitt's Kawasaki. So that's cool, man.
That's the plan. That's the whole game plan.
Something else Babbitt's did this year, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you got a 3-rider team, and in years past it's only been a couple guys, correct?
We have a 4-man team.
4, that's right, 4. Yeah, Chris Bloss is over there now.
We
Who
have
else?
Me, myself, Jacob Hayes,
right,
and Chris Bloss and Matt Gerke.
Yeah, Matt Gerke, and Matt Gerke's leading the points.
Yeah. And Gerke is just, you know, he's about like Dungey. You know, I don't think he's won very many main events this year.
He's won no main events.
No main events, but he's 20 points ahead. You know, so it's just consistency and trying to stay out of all the trouble.
Yeah, I looked at that earlier on my notes that I had, and I was looking at Gerke. He's got 140 points, no wins. Hayes, he's got 3 wins, and Regal's got 2 wins. I'm thinking, this guy could possibly win this AMSOIL Arena Cross Championship with no wins. Yep. How huge would that be?
That'd be crazy. But I'm telling you guys now, when the points reset, these guys are they're going to be firing on all cylinders.
And you'll be there too, firing on all cylinders.
I'll be there.
Well, talking about some younger guys that are firing on all cylinders, the KTM Junior Supercross Challenge guys are racing tonight. We have a special feature on them, so please enjoy that right now.
Jim Hawley, Race Day Live, presented by AMSOIL. Well, this is Anaheim. This is the last day of January, January 31st, 2015, and look who's running number 15. Chase Potter, you're going to compete tonight in the KTM Junior Supercross Challenge. You excited?
Yes.
Where are you from?
Odessa, Texas.
Odessa. Isn't George Bush close by there, right? I think Midland, right?
Yes.
What happened to your tooth? You're missing a tooth.
I lost it yesterday.
Did you get something from the Tooth Fairy last night? Did the Tooth Fairy come by and visit you?
Yes.
What'd you get?
Toys.
Yeah? Hey, this is a pretty cool deal here. You're like a factory rider. You got all new Thor gear. You get a Liat brace. You get, I know it's a surprise, but a GoPro camera. You get a pair of shoes from DC Shoes. What do you think of all the nice product you get?
I think it's cool.
What are you looking to, are you a little bit, the big track out there, that's a big track for you guys, Supercross.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite rider?
Ryan Dungey.
He's leading the points now in the 450. He's got that red background.
Yeah.
You follow Supercross, you're a big fan, right?
Yes.
Your mom and dad and everybody came out, your sister, everybody here to support Chase.
Yes.
Something else you got, I see, you got your own sticker too. Hold that up there for the camera. Look at that, that's pretty cool. You get your own sticker.
Yeah, it's really cool.
What grade are you in school?
Second.
Second grade, and how old are you? You got to be what, 6 or 7?
7.
7. So you made it. You got to. That's the age you can compete in the KTM Junior Supercross Challenge.
Yes.
Is 15 one of your favorite numbers, or how'd you get number 15?
I don't know.
You just came. You just picked it, huh? How was it? Are you going to go to Disneyland tomorrow?
Yesterday we came here and we're already staying at Disneyland.
You're staying at Disneyland? Oh man, that must be nice. Did you see Mickey Mouse? Did you tell Mickey Mouse you're going to ride in the KTM Junior Supercross Challenge?
No, we didn't meet any of them.
Yeah. Well, you got 14 other guys you're competing against today. You excited?
Yes.
I want to wish you the best of luck and go have fun. That's the main thing. Just go out there and have a good day.
Yeah.
Anybody you want to thank?
My parents.
KTM?
Yeah, and KTM.
And the 2 Christies. Christy LaCurl and the other Christy?
Okay.
Okay. Well, good luck tonight.
Thanks.
And it's always good to see from the little guys for the KTM Junior Supercross Challenge. But from the little guys to the big guys, we have Factory Suzuki team manager Mike Webb. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, cool. Well, let's get right to it. You know, you guys have had a little bit of controversy this year, but you've persevered. You have Blake Baggett, an exciting new rookie. How's your year gone for you?
I think kind of where we thought we would be. We wanted to take it slowly with Blake, you know, introduce him to the big bike, new class, and we've made progress every week, and it's going like we planned.
You know, he's an outdoor specialist. Are you guys kind of, you know, clenched up a little bit, a little nervous for him to get through Supercross so you can really unleash him when it goes outdoors, or are you letting him kind of go for it?
No, I want him to be good at both.
Yeah.
So I think if we can make good progress during the indoors, we'll take that momentum to the outdoors.
Yeah, you know, speaking of momentum, he had a good race last weekend, and he had to come back to the truck and probably feel pretty good about that.
He did. It was a bummer we got docked a couple of positions, but he definitely rode the best he has all year. You know, his speed was good. He got banged around in that the corner before the whoops and kind of jacked up his wrist a little, but he regrouped from that, and yeah, it was his best race for sure.
You guys know each other, right? You guys
we've got history.
Together,
yeah. I mean, you know, his brother Tom Webb. We talked about it. We mentioned you earlier. You were coming on the show, and I said, yeah, Tom's a editor at the High Torque publication, and he's been around the sport a long time, as well as Mike. And I said, also they got a little brother, Kip. He's a construction guy, a hell of a cabinet maker, but he also rides, and we've had a lot of great ride days out at Bean Canyon and stuff. But Mike, we've talked off camera with about Blake Baggett, and I like to come to guys that I know and I talk to him, and you know, it's the starts for Blake. He just doesn't feel confident enough. I mean, we look at his lap times. His lap times are great. I know he's got all the great resources with everything at Suzuki. Everybody's on board trying to make him, everything comfortable for him. But it's those starts. How do you talk to a guy like that and say, hey, they start just like you. Get in there and rub elbows with them.
Well, no, you're right, and he's a little guy. So, but power to weight, he should be whole shot in everything he enters. So, you know, as you know, we brought in Rick Johnson, and Rick's made some great headway with him. A lot of it's just mindset when you're on that gate. You know that you got to believe that you belong in that corner, and until you cross that, you know, it's an uphill battle. But Rick's worked with him a lot on attitude and on just fine tuning some technique. But yeah, that's definitely one of our priorities. Is you got to be in the hunt, that first group, to make something happen.
Well, and I probably put a little pressure on him. I told him, hey, supercrosslive.com, you know, we're paying $1,500 if you get the whole shot in that 450 class. And I said, it's a little bit more than when you were riding in the 250 class. You know, we added $500, so maybe I put a little pressure on him.
Well, you guys, you know, you have one of the best bikes that have been in this sport for the last 4 or 5 years, but it hasn't really changed much. Is that pretty much the same bike you guys on the factory level been racing for the last, or have you had some new, you know, adjustments coming into 2015?
No, the chassis for this year is all new. Okay. It looks the same, the plastic's the same, but the chassis was a key breakthrough. I mean, when we first got it, when James was first doing his testing, he came straight up and said this chassis is night and day over last year. So, although the bike looks the same, it's been modified and just gets better and better and better. It's like seasoning now. It's really good. So even though sometimes you wish for like a great technology breakthrough, it's kind of scary sometimes. We know what we have, and it just gets fine-tuned every year. So I'm real happy with the bike.
Are you doing some of the development? I mean, I know you ride a little bit, and it's just not all about the young guys. I mean, you know, we ride too, and do you put a little input in developing the bike? And next year in 2016, are you coming up with a different bike?
Well, they are. I don't know what they're working on right now. They're actually doing R&D. They just started prototype testing right now, but you know, that's through a complete different engineering group as far as the production bike's concerned. But they take, for instance, the starting mechanism this year, the ease of starting, that all came straight from James because he was having trouble starting the bike. So they first went at it from the factory standpoint, and then it trickled down to production. So yeah, it does trickle in, but a lot of times we don't know what they're working on until we get it.
Something else we were talking about earlier today in the pits, you know, calling our producer, you know, we want to try to get you know, some big name stars on the show, you know, besides yourself. But I was asking you about Matt LeBlanc, and you said, oh man, he can't come on, he just got off. And Matt LeBlanc, he still rides. I mean, I ran into him one day at a bike show. He said, I'm going to jump on my bike and I'm going up to Canada just by himself. I mean, he's an avid rider and a good friend of yours.
Yeah, he's a full moto head. He had a big get off yesterday. He's in the hospital, so shout out to Matty, but he'll be all right, but he's pretty banged up right now.
Well, speaking of shout-outs, we want to thank everybody for tuning in, both at home and here live on the big screen. So all you guys out there in the seats, thank you for coming out and watching qualifying. We also have a fan question that Bruce B. wrote into us, and he wanted to ask Mike Webb, could Mike Alessi benefit from factory support, and what would you suggest to help Mike Alessi the most?
Well, I'm not real sure of the package they have right now, engine-wise and suspension-wise. I know they've done a great deal of work to get Mike comfortable, so it's hard to say if he just jumped on our spec bike, would it be an improvement? Maybe in some ways, but you know, I think he's got his bike working and his group do a really good job.
Well, cool. Thank you for answering his question. Let's talk about this track today. This is one of the more, you know, technical tracks we've seen all season. They got that elevated start. Do you remember seeing anything like that in all your years?
No, it's been a long time, but I think for Blake it might be a good thing. It's a start that's not the norm, so
get the separation from some of the guys right off of the line there, and that might help him. He jumps out and he looks over and he doesn't see him. He's hey,
just pin that thing. But the track itself, it's definitely like this second set of whoops, they're gnarly, and it's a very technical track. It's pretty peaky. His comments were it's, you know, typical Anaheim, slick and notchy, but it's a challenge, that's for sure.
We've always talked, Andy and I, you know, when we look at a Supercross track and the way you look at this one, some of them you go to and you go, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing a couple laps around this one, but this one here, I'm saying, I don't want to touch that thing. I don't even want to go through that second set of whoops. I don't even want to walk them.
No, when we were walking them this morning, and I'd see people in front of me, like half of them disappear as they're walking through. I'm like, ooh, that's a big set.
That's an interesting point you bring up. A lot of people that were in the stadium now, and a lot of the fans are listening in. The track walk, you know, you always see everybody, suspension guys, technicians, team managers, everybody walking with Blake or James or things like that. What are you breaking down on the track? What when you guys stop and you kind of talk and you gander about a certain section, what are you talking about?
A lot of it's just the possibility of the combinations you can do, whether it's, you know, roll 2, 3, or double 2, whatever it is. We look at what would seem possible, and for Blake to keep that in mind. And then as he goes out through his practice sessions, if we see somebody doing something different, you know, we get on the horn and say, hey, they're going 3 in or whatever.
Yeah, that's and Mike, you probably know this from when I was up in Canada when I took Tom Webb. We were on a track walk in a Supercross in Calgary, Canada, and Tom's going, yeah, I think you can triple that section. And I go, really, man, really? And I went out and I tried it, and I almost broke my foot. I ended up getting third down. I come back to Tom and I said, Tom, I'm not listening to you ever again, man.
Cost you money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, tell us more about your featured rider, Blake Baggett. You know, his nickname is El Chupacabra. You know, he's an animal. That guy trains really, really hard. You know, now you have Rick Johnson, and he's watching him. The guy's, he trains super hard. Isn't Blake one of the most hardworking guys you've seen?
Yeah, if almost to a fault. You know, I gotta sometime limit the amount of times he wants to ride because he wants to be back on the bike Monday, Tuesday, a little break Wednesday, hit it again Thursday. And you know, as you guys know, it's a fine line between overdoing it and burnout and staying fresh and getting back on the bike on Saturday and being pumped to be on the bike, you know, being excited about it. So, yeah, with Blake, we kind of have to hold him back a little. He's a workhorse, that's for sure.
How's James doing? I saw him at Anaheim 1. He was here. I got a chance to talk to him a little bit, and he says, "Hey, I'm still riding. I'm still, you know, I'm just not racing."
Yeah, he's here tonight. He's signing autographs, and Yeah, it's the same. Of course, it's really frustrating for him, for all of us. But it is what it is. You know, we're not going to sit there and pout and feel sorry for ourselves. We've got to get on with it. We're actually setting up schedule for outdoor testing at the end of this month with James. So yeah, we'll keep him riding, and we'll just wait for this to be over and get him back on the bike.
How do you think he's going to come back? You know, let's fast forward to 2016 Anaheim 1. What kind of fire is going to be lit underneath that guy?
Well, this year going into, because we did Supercross testing with James straight up because we didn't know what was going to happen. He was the best I've ever seen him. He's always had that sheer speed, but it was the comfort zone he was doing it this year. I think we take that and the fire that's in him right now, because clearly, you know, he's pretty fired up. So we take it and put it together, and I think he still has a lot in the tank.
Well, it's cool that he's here, you know, for the fans. And fans, if you're watching, go over to the Suzuki truck and get yourself an autograph. Mike, thanks for coming on the show, man. Best of luck with you and Blake tonight.
Good seeing you, 5 honey.
Thanks, I
It's
appreciate it,
a nickname I
guys.
got for him.
Okay.
And folks, go ahead and take a break. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Weston Peick here, race for JGR Yamaha, and you're watching Race Day Live.
And if you want to win, MMI and AMSOIL have teamed up to give you a chance to win a replica of Kevin Windham's Honda CRF 450R Supercross bike. Go to www.winkevinsbike.com for your chance to win. MMI, the official technical institute of Monster Energy Supercross. And DC Shoes. DC's proud to be the official footwear sponsor of AMA Supercross. Defy convention with DC Shoes. And thanks for tuning in, folks. Andy Boyer, Jim Hawley. We're here at Round 5 at Anaheim Stadium. We're going to have a good night of racing tonight on Fox Sports 1.
Yeah, I think it's going to be excellent. You know, you talk about, you know, how's Kenny Roczen going to rebound from that incident? You know, what's going to happen with, you know, Tyler Bowers and Cooper Webb out there? How are they going to do? Jesse Nelson, you know, he won here. The opener was leading the second time we were here on the 17th of January. He throws it away. Let's see how he's going to rebound. Osborne, what's he going to do? Eli Tomac, what's he going to do in that 450? When's Millsap going to jump up to the podium and get that Monster Energy Kawasaki up to the top spot? So a lot of guys still chomping at the bit to get a win.
Yeah, and how about Malcolm Stewart, who did get a win last weekend, and Ryan Dungey, who's leading the points. It's just going to be an awesome show. It was cool to have Zach Ames come on the show. It's a bummer to see his broken arm, but, you know, that's kind of a positive, is that he's going to be able to come back. And the cool thing with that series, how they reset it with a chase format with 6 rounds to go, it's really cool. And actually, we were able to speak with Kyle Riegel, you know, and talk about his first win that he had last weekend, and here's what he had to say.
All right, Kyle, welcome to Race Day Live. We're here at Angel Stadium at Anaheim for round 5 over here in Supercross. But let's talk about you, man. First off, congratulations on that big win last weekend.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I rode 2 good main events. Actually started in the back row in the first one, and felt like I had good speed all weekend. Just ran into some trouble on Friday night, and put it all together Saturday night for my first win of the season, and actually first overall win of the of my career in arena cross here.
Well, congratulations, but you have a really strong team underneath you right now. The Husqvarna, Ty Lube, Tough Racing. Those guys have been around arena cross almost since the beginnings of the sport. How is it working with those guys?
Yeah, Dave Analock has been around the sport, like you said, a long time, and they got the most experience in this type racing, and they know really how to build a bike, and that's suitable for me. And I think a lot of people are really focusing on the wrong things on the bike, and I think Dave's good about, you know what I mean, sticking to the roots, know how to design a bike motor-wise, and to have the best for the starts and then also for the whoops.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and what's kind of cool, our theme in Supercross is who's next. But you guys have the same thing going on over there with AMSOIL Arena Cross. With Bowers being out, it's like wide open for you guys, you know. You are third in points right now, but you're going to reset with 6 races to go. Are you already starting to think about this championship?
Yeah, we've always had that in the back of our mind, that we're not really too stressed about, like, really what position we are in the points. Obviously, as long as we're top 10 for that race for the championship is obviously huge. If you're out of it, there's no point. And really, if I'm out of it, you know what I mean? It's tough to be in a series where you don't have a chance for the championship, especially if it's getting restarted. So I think we're in a decent position. I'm third, like you said, and just if the wins are available, I'm going to do it. But at the same time, I'm not going to make any risky moves. A lot of guys are getting hurt this year, and obviously just try and be healthy throughout the whole year, and then when it comes for those last 5-6 races, really be 100% ready for those.
Absolutely. You know, what's kind of cool over here in Supercross, we have some rivalries going on with Webb and Bowers. And what's going on with, I remember what Arena Cross was like. What's going on with you guys? You guys got any rivalries going on? You got anybody you're rubbing elbows with every weekend?
Not really. No rivalries, really. Just it's a deal where it's tight racing. It's tough to pass, and you got to make aggressive moves. So as long as you're open to that kind of racing and realizing what's a good move and what's a bad move is the biggest thing. But at the same time, like I said, it's early. It's a long series. We're racing a lot on the weekends because some venues we're doing Friday and Saturday night, and with the whole 2 main event thing. So we're actually racing 4 main events on some of the weekends, which I don't know. It's tough for me because you don't really want a guy against you in this kind of racing, just because when the points restart or your night could be going awesome, and then one thing, and a lot of times they're so short, the races are so short, it's hard to respond and be able to get a good result after, say, you get taken out or get in a bad position where you get passed a couple times, because once you make a pass, it's hard to get a guy back just because it's so tight, like I said.
Yeah, well, you're in the Ricky Carmichael road to Supercross. You know, you've been around for a while, but you think, you know, it seems like you've found a home there in Arena Cross. Do you still have your eyes on racing Supercross someday, or are you pretty comfortable racing there with AMSOIL Arena Cross?
Honestly, I would love to go back to Supercross. It's more in the spotlight, and any racer obviously wants to be in the biggest spotlight at the highest stage. So it's a deal where I got a lot of good people around me here. If something presented itself in Supercross, yeah, I would walk over there. But then the same thing goes for outdoors. I could totally be an Arena Cross guy and then go race outdoors. I believe I've been able to do good in outdoors in the past, and with the right opportunity, I think that would be something I'd be really open to. Is same for, say, a Supercross deal, or I don't know. Like you said, though, even here, I'm having a blast. A lot of good guys running the series, and I feel like I'm one of the guys to win, so that's obviously huge on my part. Obviously, I'd rather be a guy winning than, say, a 15th to 20th place guy, but it's just, you know what I mean? For yourself, I feel like it's good, but then obviously seeing how well Bowers does in that series after coming from here is obviously opens a lot of guys' eyes on this part to jump back to the lights class and maybe potentially get some podiums and a good deal doing out of this.
Well, absolutely, Kyle. One thing you've always had is talent and speed, man. So, hey, congratulations on getting that big win. Congratulations on being third in the points. And we want to wish you luck to go get that championship here as your season wears on, brother.
I appreciate it, man. And then I can't, like I said before, I can't do it with all the guys behind me, the whole team, Ty Lube, Tough Racing, Husqvarna. I'm always been a fly racing guy. The gear is amazing. DC, all my sponsors appreciate it. Fuel Clothing, Twin Peaks Restaurants, stepping big up this year, and maybe pushing for a title sponsorship next year. Just getting my feet wet, so that'll be cool. Yeah, so that'll be cool too. Maybe bring that over to Supercross if I could get a deal together and really go from there.
Well, right on, man. Congratulations and good luck tonight in Nashville. Go kick some butt.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, man, motocross fans, if you're looking for class-leading 450 power with 250 style handling, then check out the incredibly quick and nimble Yamaha YZ450F at YamahaMotorsports.com today. And DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of AMA Supercross. Defy convention with DC Shoes. That was cool to talk to, Kyle Riegel there. He got his first win and has a good thing going with Dave Analock and those guys from Tough Racing and Husqvarna. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they've been around a long time. I mean, Dave Analock and to have Husky over there and getting some wins and things like that, it's just huge for those guys. But, Riegel, I mean, he's had some great finishes in Supercross and outdoors and things like that. But it's just, one of those things where, like, if nothing comes together for you in Supercross, hey, let's go to the AMSOIL Arena Cross Series and make some money. And I think with the shuffling of the points, that helps a guy like Zach Ames with that injury. All he has to do is be in that top 10, and then he's eligible for that championship. And it sounds like that's kind of where those guys are at. They're just, getting a chance. Hey, we just want to make sure we're in the top 10, and we don't want to, jeopardize anything to do that. As we're getting a chance to see some of the guys on the track walk here behind us, this is always a neat thing that they do. They let the fans and sponsorship people go down on the track and get a chance to walk the track, and they really get an idea of how deep those whoops are and how deep the ruts are and things like that.
Well, you know what I like seeing, Jim? Look at how that dirt's turning up. Look how dark and moist it looks. You know, they watered it a lot last night and watered it a lot today, but they've been doing that for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and what that's done is create an ideal racetrack for the main events. And when I look over my shoulder right now, I know you guys at home can't see, but you folks in the stands can see, and it looks really good. They're out there walking right now, the promoter, track walk. But when these guys get going again for the second round of qualifying, the lap times are going to come down. We're going to see guys putting sections together they haven't done yet today, and the track looks really good. You know, the Feld track crew has killed it this weekend. It's awesome.
Well, and you're getting a chance to see some of those bulldozers out there right now, as well as the water truck and things. The key is, in talking with Rich Winkler and the guys, you got to get that moisture in the ground. And yeah, during the track walk at 10:30 in the morning, it's a little greasy and slippery and things like that. But I think that, like you talked about, after this, the people, when they get a chance to churn it up, and it even gets better after qualifying practice, they have a little bit more time to work on the track, and come those first couple of heat races in the 250 class, I mean, it is going to be perfect conditions out there tonight.
Absolutely. Another place where it's perfect is at the merchandise trailer. You can go over there, and all you folks in the stands, go check out the Monster Energy merchandise trailer. Get your T-shirts, hats, race memorabilia. You can get these cool drinks that we're drinking out of here, me and Jim. We were able to do the Toyota tailgate talk with those folks, and here's what they had to say.
Andy Boyer with Race Day Live, presented by AMSOIL. This is this week's Toyota Tailgate Talk, and we're here at the Monster Energy merchandise trailer. We got all kinds of stuff. We got hooded sweatshirts, we got beanies, we got all your favorite riders' merchandise. Crowds lined up, and everybody's picking out their favorite stuff. Let's go in and check it out. And here we are inside the merchandise trailer with Cody Pebbles. We got all this stuff in here everybody's buying. Cody's, what are some of the more popular items?
Well, so far we sold a lot of our series shirts. The jerseys are selling out. Our Honda hoodies are going like crazy. Everything's selling really good. I mean, our riders are really popular. Dungey seems to be selling the most. We're almost out of Reed. We're just cooking through it, man. Selling a lot of good merch.
What's some of the craziest stuff you've seen here in the merchandise trailer? Have you got any cool stories?
More than I can come
Anything you can talk about?
No.
Who's your favorite rider, Madden?
Ryan Dungey.
Ryan Dungey. Is he going to win tonight? Well, what are you guys buying today here at the merchandise trailer? Got a brand new Ryan Dungey hat right there. And we got all this great merchandise in the trailer and all these thousands of people wanting to buy it. But if you can't be here, where's the website to go to buy this stuff?
You can go to supercrossonline.com and click the Shock tab and find all kinds of good deals from last year and this year's merchandise.
That's Cody Pebbles and this week's Toyota Tailgate Talk here in the Monster Energy merchandise trailer. Come visit.
And that was fun to talk to those guys last weekend at the merchandise trailer. They were busy, man.
Oh, it's huge out there. I mean, sometimes you got to get there early because sometimes they run out of stuff. But if they run out of stuff, you can always go to the website and get things. And, with Valentine's Day coming just around the corner when we're in Arlington, you can pick up some nice stuff, Valentine's Day gifts for the wife or your kids. But that kid, he was a real Dungey fan. I mean, he had a hat. He was buying another one. He actually had a set of Ryan Dungey's goggles, because after when you did the interview, I asked him, I go, hey, where'd you get those goggles? He said, Ryan Dungey gave them to me. So that was pretty cool to see that. But, yeah, I mean, they have a lot of great things like you talked about with our cups here. They got the tires with the piston and the rod. They just have a lot of neat stuff. And, it's great to go there and get something unique for someone's birthday or something like that. You just kind of go on there and shop. And I've done it myself. I've bought T-shirts for friends of mine over in Indonesia and things like that. And they send them out, and I send them over to Indonesia. It's a great website. It's worth checking out.
Absolutely, Jim. Now talk to us a little bit about what they're doing there with the tractor. Why is that guy smoothing that stuff out? Is it because they just put the water on, or what's going on there?
Yeah, what happens is that, they're kind of tracking it in. You see the tractors in there with the track, and they're just kind of walking in and putting a little water in, and then they're just kind of want to make sure it's smooth out there and things like that. They really want this start to work tonight because, like you said, you can see right there where they drop down, and it looks like a 45-degree angle, about a 10-foot drop, and then they're going to come into that first turn there. And what they want to do is make sure that it's not hard and dry going into the first turn, when they're making that left-hander. So they make sure that when you go in there that, they got some braking and things like that. They want to have a little bit of something to slow them down, a little bit of cushion getting into that first turn.
That's awesome, Jim. You know, we were just talking about that young fan who Ryan Dungey's his guy, you know, and they're running out of Ryan Dungey merchandise at the trailer. Ryan Dungey has the red plate on his KTM. He's leading the points. Fox Sports 1 sat down with Ryan, and they had a good conversation. And check it out, guys.
I had to learn to stand up, see for myself. I had to learn to forget the past, 'cause it's gone, gone, gone.
Ryan Dungey reached the pinnacle of his profession when he was 20.
Ryan Dungey has done it! The rookie is the champ!
But over the next 4 seasons, like everyone else, he couldn't keep pace with the new champ.
When you win, there's nowhere else to go but down. But, you know, it hasn't taken away my confidence. It hasn't put doubt in my head. If anything, you know, I feel better than I've ever felt. The past is the past.
'Cause it's gone, gone, gone.
He's the golden boy of Supercross, charming and articulate, never controversial. But his gentle nature has made him vulnerable to criticism. Does Dungey really have the killer instinct of a champion?
Yeah, I've heard that quite a bit. The aggressive factor.
Dungey did the same thing last weekend with Chad Reed. We're just waiting and waiting. You cannot wait. You got to attack, attack, attack.
Honestly, when I'm out there on that dirt bike, I am going as hard as I can. You know, I'm trying my best, and I'm not going to go out there and make enemies.
Dungey, throughout most of his career, is just a little bit timid at making the pass like this. And hey, just go ahead and pull the trigger and take a chance right here, you know?
Intensity and aggression, they're two separate things. Aggression's there. It's just the intensity in the racing is what I need to bring.
A lot of guys give me crap for not making that passes or blowing people off the track. Like to see them get out here and do it. It's tough.
It's either you're going to let it affect you by thinking about it and caring what other people say, or you shut it out.
You won't see him going on like the message boards on the motocross websites. He's never been one to get into that. And I'm like, how do you just ignore that? Like, I want to say something to this guy back to him, and he's really good. Like, don't even say anything, don't even think about it, just blow it off. You don't want to bring yourself to those people's levels.
You know, if you're on top, they got something to say. If you're not, they still got something to say. It's just something that you can't control. You got to believe in yourself and let your thoughts and feelings go forward.
Winning another title may be the only way for Dungey to silence his critics and dissolve any shred of self-doubt.
Yes, he is hard on himself. Second place will never be good enough. He is the kind of guy who wants to win, and he wants to win every weekend, and he works too hard not to.
I'm a little too hard on myself, yes. You know, if I have an off night, I beat myself up. I'm learning, you know, I want to do good, and you know, that drives me to move forward, but I could lighten the load a little bit.
Yeah, gone, gone, gone.
I get so focused on wanting to be doing good that if I don't, then it's like, wait a minute, there's more to life, you know what I mean? There's, you know, kids look up to you. You forget, like, dude, I get to race for a living. So keeping things in perspective is important.
Side by side, they're bringing it in Minnesota. Board to board, one last shot. Dungey wins it home.
Feels like I'm number one, number one. Confusion's gone, gone, gone. Gone, gone, gone.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Ken Roczen, riding for Soaring Eagle Jimmy John Suzuki Factory Racing Team, and you're watching Race Day Live.
And race fans, what do the Yamaha YZ450F and Yamaha YZ250F have in common? They both won multiple major motocross shootouts. Check them out at your Yamaha dealer or YamahaMotorsports.com. And AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil delivers maximum horsepower, bulletproof wear protection, and consistent clutch feel for the confidence you need to get on it, get after it, and stay out front. AMSOIL, out front performance. Visit AMSOIL.com/dirt bike to learn more.
Well, look at this, Andy. They're doing something a little bit different now. They're letting the guys get a practice start off of the starting line, just kind of to see how it was going to feel coming down off of that, which I think that's pretty cool.
That guy better get out of the way, I'll tell you that.
He's holding them up. He's holding them up, making sure that Kenny Roczen introduced himself. You're watching Race Day Live. That was his mother behind him, the blonde lady behind him. But
you know, how about that piece with Ryan Dungey?
I thought it was excellent. I mean, a lot of people, you know, they say, well, he doesn't have the fight to be a champion. What do you mean? He's already been a champion. He's got the fight. He's got the desire. And, you know, I think that any one of those guys, Ryan Dungey could go to dinner with him.
Yeah.
He wants to stay out of controversy and trouble and things like that. And Ryan Dungey's a great guy.
Yeah, he wants to stay out of the hospital. I mean, look at his career. You have a guy like that that's been around for as long as he has and won the Big Daddy Championships and made millions of dollars. Okay, let's not forget the fact that he's leading the points this year in what's supposed to be the most stacked class that we've seen in decades. You know, Ryan Dungey's doing it correctly. I like the way, I like his style, you know?
No, I think he's a great kid. And like I said, a lot of people, you know, you heard his wife talk about Lindsay, talk about him getting beat up on the message boards and things like that. I mean, those people on those message boards have never ridden a Supercross, okay? You don't see a guy like Danny Laporte or Brock Glover or myself criticizing any one of these guys, and we've been there and done that. Yeah. We keep our mouths shut.
Yeah.
It's the people that have not been there that have an opinion, and you know, and oh well.
Yeah, that guy here in the 250C group qualifying just took a trip to over the bars there.
Well, that was that second set of whoops we talked about with Mike Webb. You know how hard it is there, but the man out front right now, he's got a good clean track, 662 here. I'm going to try to get a name for him here. That looks like Bannister there, and Bannister.
Yeah, Bannister's got some sponsors listed here: Advanced Concrete, Moto Adventure, RDP, Novik Gloves, 6D Helmets, and GDS Electric. They got to be pumped out there right now. The track looks excellent. They just smoothed out all the ruts and stuff and put some water down, and it's a good time to be on the track.
Well, it is and it isn't, because even though they put the water down, they smooth out, there's not the lines that are there. So these guys are kind of out there having to, you know, they only have a little bit of time in this qualifying session here. They have to go out there and put down some good lap times and develop some of the lines that went away after the failed track crew went out there and, you know, made a nice smooth track for everybody.
I don't know. I think I'd rather ride right now. You know, it might be a little bit of water on there, but I always kind of liked it when I was the first heat race, when you go out there and even if you pull the whole shot, you know, and the track's all packed in and the corner's got some traction on the inside.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do, when you go out there and you have some berms and things like that, you can drive into and hit and accelerate a little harder. It's a lot. Your lap times are going to be a little bit faster for these guys.
That's going to be the theme here throughout the second group of qualifying. We have the C guys coming up, then the B guys, and then we're going to see the Big Daddies come up and see the second round of the A qualifying. I think they were running a 58. What did we write down here? Dungey was a 58.1 was our fastest lap.
Yeah.
What do you think that's going to do? You think they're going to get in the 57s?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, without a doubt. I think that they'll go back. They'll make some changes to some of the motorcycles if some of the guys that didn't have good lap times. And, yeah, after this, they'll come back out. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if someone dropped a 56.9 or something. I mean, they could drop a second off of their time.
And it's still Bannister, the fastest in this 250C group qualifying number 2. He's followed by Yarborough, Harmon, Lindbergh, and looks like the 138 is Lilly.
Yeah, some of the guys on the move there. You look at Smith and Wilson and Campa. You know, a few of these guys, Reynolds, I see, these guys are all trying to bid for a spot to be one of the 40 fastest so they can move on to the that first heat race at 7 o'clock tonight here at Anaheim Stadium and Fox Sports 1 live.
That's right. Fox Sports 1 going to air tonight. You know, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a great show. You know, I'm still jacked up about what happened last weekend. Just seeing the points shake up, and Canard getting a win, Dungey leading the points, Malcolm Stewart getting his first career win. Who's next, Jim? Who's going to be the next guy to blow the roof off this thing?
Well, I think you know, you got to look at some of the guys out there, and you got to look at, you know, Dungey. I mean, I think he's got to be who's next as far as a win. He hasn't had a win this year. Chad Reed hasn't had a win this year. I mean, you can go down the line and just look at some of the guys who didn't have a win. You know, Barsha, Seeley, Millsaps, Reed. You know, Anderson. I mean, Anderson finished second. Reed, all these guys here. And then you look at the 250 class, you know, Malcolm Stewart's got a win, and Webb's got a win. Bowers doesn't have a win. Osborne, Bell, they don't have one. Plessinger, Hansen, Hill, Nelson's got a win. Some of those guys, I mean, trying to get those wins. I mean, that's why we come here. That's why we're fans, and that's why I love doing the show, Race Day Live with yourself, Andy. I don't know who's next, to be honest. I mean, who would have thought that Kenny Roczen would have threw away a 12-point lead last weekend in Oakland?
I couldn't believe what I was seeing, you know, and look at the points. You know, Dungey's got a 4-point lead over Roczen, who's got a 10-point lead over Canard, who's only got a 4-point lead over Tomac, who's only got a 2-point lead over Anderson, and he's only 4 points ahead of Barsha. You know, if Dungey and Roczen have bad nights tonight, look at the points. You know, this thing has the capacity to really, really get exciting as we leave California.
Yeah.
And on through the top 5 here in 250 group qualifying number 2, it's Lilly in your number 1 position. He's followed by Bannister, Yarborough, Harmon, and Wilson.
Yeah, and you mentioned a lot of these guys here. Next weekend, they're just going to head. We're going to head down south about an hour from here, San Diego, Petco Park. It's going to be great to go down there. That'll be the first time that we've been down there, and we talked about it earlier in the show about going to Petco and, you know, how the riders want to be the first one to win in a new venue. So that'll be good next weekend in San Diego.
Yeah, pretty exciting. We have 2 brand new venues on the tour this year with, you know, the Santa Clara round up there in San Jose. That's going to be cool to go there. And
Levi Stadium, I'm really looking forward to that one because, you know, you get a chance to kind of look at the stadium when the San Francisco 49ers are playing. You kind of look at it and go, hey, yeah, we'll be there in April. It's going to be nice.
Hopefully the race goes better than the Niners season this year. They struggled. These are all my friends up there in Northern California, you know, who I got to ride with last weekend in Hollister, and it was a good time. So we got a little over, we have 3 minutes to go here in this 250 group qualifying.
Lilly moved up to the top now with a 105.7. You're seeing some of the guys, you know, just having a hard time in some of these timing sections, and they should be because they don't have the tracks to practice on like a lot of the factory guys do.
Well, Lilly's 2 seconds a lap faster than Bannister there. Let's give him some love to his sponsors. Blake Lilly lists Piston Bones, FMF, Spy, Alias, ODI, and Pirelli Tires as his sponsors. Good job for him. He's going to be in the night show tonight with a lap time like that. Looks like guaranteed.
Yeah, and you're seeing sort of some of the, you know, lines starting to develop in the course here. And when we come back on camera, you're going to notice that we put on a jacket because it is getting a little cold. When that sun sets, it's going to get a little colder here. And don't think that tonight when those main events go off that it's going to be pretty cold out there for the guys tonight.
Yeah, it's not going to get any warmer, that's for sure. I know. I was happy to put my jacket on right now, but
it's not going to be like Stockholm, Sweden, 30 degrees and snowing. You know, a friend of mine texted me and said, "Hey, Sweden's it's horrible right now," and we're complaining. We put on a little light jacket just because we got into the shade.
And we got about a minute and a half to go here. It's still Lilly, and then we have a new rider in the top 5. Ulrich, he jumped up to 2nd place. Oh, then we got
now
some
Bannister.
Bannister to the top with the 105.7.
Yeah, they're cutting their lap times down. You got to remember that, you know, we were talking about it earlier with Dungey and Webb and all the guys where they cut it down. These guys, remember last time they were out, they were at 107s. So they've taken a couple seconds off of their lap times. And I think it's attributed to a couple different things. Maybe the track, maybe these guys have got a little bit more comfortable. They've made some changes on their motorcycles. Each and every time, if you're working with a rider and you go out on a track, you should be able to knock a little bit off each and every time to a certain point.
Yeah.
And that
I
certain
agree.
point is when they start getting tired. Then they start making mistakes. So, you know, they shouldn't be tired now. I mean, this is, you know, they only got about 44 seconds to go, and, you know, it's, this is one of those tracks that are going to be real tiring. You probably see a lot of the guys take their hands off, shaking them and stuff. They got a little bit of arm pump.
Yeah. You know, I mean, more to that, Jim. I mean, this is a tough track. You know, the reason the lap times are getting faster is because it's taking them a while to figure it out. You know, 10 minutes on a track that's this gnarly ain't enough time. Isn't enough time, excuse me. But, you know, this section here before the finish line, the fast guys are going triple before the finish line. And then I haven't seen too many guys really hold it wide open through the whoops, but they're getting more and more guts underneath them. And it's a tough track. You know, the different combinations with the tabletops and jumping on and tripling.
Well, and the other thing, Andy, that's going to be hard for him, it's not only physically but also mentally to concentrate and focus, you know, during 15 laps in the 250 or 20 in the 450, or for that matter, in a heat race, it's only 6 laps and you got everybody pushing out there. A lot of these guys are thinking when they're in this first set of whoops here, they're not thinking about the right-hand corner after. That's easy. They're thinking about the next set of whoops, making sure they get out of the corner and they can get up on top of those whoops and keep that drive going so they can do the next timing section after that whoop. So not only physically, but mentally a big game here.
Absolutely, I agree, especially on a track that's as technical as this one. But that looks like we have the time's running out here. And it's Lilly back up at the top with the 105.3, Ulrich with the 105.5, Bannister with the 105.7, Yarborough with the 107.9, and Wilson with the 108. That's your top 5 in 250 Group C, qualifying number 2.
And that triple right there, it's very hard to do that triple and to make that right-hander after to get on the brakes.
And race fans, if you're looking for a bike you can win on right out of the crate, then check out the Yamaha YZ450F and national champion YZ250F at YamahaMotorsports.com today. And AMSOIL products that help put racers in the winner's circle are the same products available to you. AMSOIL makes a full line of oils not only for your power sports toys, but also for the cars and trucks you drive. Choose AMSOIL Performance for any engine. We got the guys in 250 Group B coming up here, you know, going to give themselves a chance to practice a start on that raised up, elevated starting line.
Yeah, it's going to be good for those guys, huge. And this is a good point that, you know, I think the Feld people and the AMA to give these guys an opportunity to get a chance to drop down out of that starting gate there and race into that first turn. I think it's a great opportunity for these guys to get a little bit more practice.
Yeah, it's cool to let them do that. You know, that was going to be kind of gnarly if they just went into their heat race without one practice gate.
Well, you gotta at least try it once just to see exactly what it's going to feel like. You know, with that we talked about it with the whole shot device. Is it going to disengage when you drop off?
Are they going to launch out there?
Yeah, they're going to launch out there. You know, it's just different ways. And now you're seeing that this is the, like you said, the 250 Group B. These guys are getting after it a little bit more. You hear the revs up, they're charging a little bit more.
They'll be 3 or 4 seconds a lap faster than the Group C, that's for sure.
Hang on to it in the whoops.
And folks, we have a big surprise for the show. Brian Deegan finally made it up here from the parking lot. He had a little bit of trouble getting up here. We're up here in the this ain't the Knothole Club. This is the help me out here, Jim.
The Diamond Club.
The Diamond Club.
This is where you can have dinner and kind of get a chance to watch Supercross. These are premier seats here where we're broadcasting from.
It's cool to have Brian up here. We're going to get some interview questions headed his way as soon as we get going back on camera. But this is 250 Group B. We have Gurley. Looks like I can't see. That's number 243 in second, and then White, Church, and
Colton Eck.
Colton Eck in the top 5.
526, yeah. Colton Eck there sitting in 5th. going to be good if he can get into that main event. He's had some problems. Remember last time here at Anaheim on the 17th of January we were here, and he had that horrible get-off over there. And he was just coming back from thumb surgery. So, you know, nothing was wrong with the thumb, but he just kind of rang his bell a little bit. Had to sit out that race, but hopefully Colton Eck can get in the top 40 fastest qualifiers here.
Oh, down goes Frazier. He's up. Get off that GoPro tough block there before it catches on fire. He's trying his best.
Well, and you see the steam coming out of his bike there. You know, hopefully he didn't, you know, ruin a radiator, and he's not puking out any fluids, but it looks like he's back up and okay. And
that's Justin Lee out of Laguna Hills, California.
See, that's that whoop section where you see some of the guys, they're just not able to get on top. And when you're not able to get on top and carry that momentum, then that next section after that, the timing section, is, you know, very hard to put that together. You know, and we'll be ready to go here. And and they're starting to deal with some shadows and sun. We've talked about that before, how hard it is to concentrate and focus on that.
All right, folks, and we have Brian Deegan on Race Day Live, man. Welcome to the show. What's going on?
Not much. Just had a little tough time getting up here from the parking lot. It's already filling up. There's already tons of people in there, and it's cool. You know, it's cool to see all the fans coming here early to see the teams and, you know, get a little view of practice. And, you know, you come in here and you see how tough the track really is. Like, you'll come in here, a lot of guys will show up at night to see the main event. Everyone's flying and got the track wired, but this is the time that really shows like how hard it really is. You know, guys are struggling. You know, they're struggling when they go out there, especially the B groups and the guys in the lower groups. And I don't know, it just brings back a lot of memories of like the earlier in the days, you know.
You know, hey man, talking about memories, I was excited to have you on the show because you won one of these things, man. 1996 LA Coliseum 125 Supercross. You beat my hero Robbie Raynard. Ghost rode your bike over the finish line. Go back there and tell us what it was like to win that thing.
And that's, you know, speaking for the, you know, the average rider that's, you know, his goal is to come up and race pro one day. And that was me. I came from Nebraska and, you know, I had a goal of being a pro, which was so far-fetched, you know, really coming out of Nebraska. And, you know, chased the dreams to California, and I trained so hard, and it was bikes I had to buy from a shop. And, you know, I was racing against all the best. And went out there, and everything was kind of going my way, you know, and I went to the lead, and I remember passing Renard for the lead, and I heard the crowd erupt. It was over the triple, and I just remember getting chills and getting really nervous, like right when the crowd went crazy. And then I was like, you know what? That's so badass. Like, it's time to go. Yeah, I just felt like such a deal of getting amped with the crowd, and I, you know, went on to win the race. And really at that point, freestyle was just starting, and really tricks weren't out totally yet, so I didn't really know what to do. I was coming to the finish, and I was like, didn't really plan on winning, but I was, and I'm like, if I could have backflipped, I probably would have went for that. But I just ghost rode my bike and didn't realize it was going to kind of turn out to be such a big deal. And you know, people were still racing behind me for second, third, fourth, fifth, and I'm like kind of dodging them. And in the end, I think that was the perfect way for me to win my first race and kind of just put a stamp on it and accomplish a goal.
Well, and Kenny Watson was your mechanic there. You're riding for Moto Triple X. He was probably, hey man, we won one. I don't care if the radiators are bent or the handlebars are bent. Just make sure the rider. I know Jordan Burns. How did all that come together with Moto Triple X? I mean, I remember some of those earlier videos with you, and I'm drawing a blank on his name. You know, with the
Metzger.
funny Metzger. You know, with the and, you know, the tights. You know, those are cool videos. I remember you were kind of the pioneer to get that going. And I know Jordan Burns. He still is pushing the envelope on some of those videos.
Yeah, you know, it was an era, all right? So there was an era when I felt like I was coming up into the motocross scene, and I had a character that I wanted to express. And at the time, racing was so much a number, you know, and you're just, if you're winning, that was, got the attention. And I was, you know, me and my buddies were kind of like, well, we wanted to do something more, so we started doing tricks on dirt bikes, and it formed into the sport, which we were luckily able to bring to X Games, which launched it. But, you know, at that time, I was a struggling racer, and I got my chance with the Chaparral team in '96. And I remember they were like, all right, here's your contract. You can't have colored hair, no tattoos, no piercings. And it was all this stuff.
What? Are you kidding me?
And, you know, that was after my best year in '95 as a privateer, top 10, you know, and me and Kenny. And they said, and you can't have Kenny Watson as your mechanic, like all this stuff. And I'm like, Larry Brooks is the team manager. And I'm like, man, do I really want to do this? But at the point, I tried so hard my whole career, and this was like free bikes, free flights, everything I've never had,
Right.
as a privateer. And so I had to do it. And I did that year, and it was the most miserable year of my life racing.
You didn't have fun, right?
And I didn't have fun, and it was so much pressure and stress, and we struggled with the bikes, and I just, at the end of that year, I just had a bad year, and that was the first time I really had a bad year, and that's when Jordan and the guys from Strung Out, No Effects, came to me and said, hey, we're willing to fund your team for a year, you and Brian Swink, and let's just go out and be as crazy as we can be until we get kicked out. And I'm like, that sounds right up my alley. So it was career suicide for sure in motocross, but hey, it was the start of freestyle.
That's
it was
exactly right.
It was the start of the free ride movement. Could you do it again today? I don't know. I think it's been done. And I think free riding and freestyle was rebellion against racing, and that's how it started in a whole different world that racing was against freestyle. That was the black sheep of dirt bikes. But crazy how over time, freestyle has become factory, right? Like freestyle riders are now wanting to have factory rides, factory bikes, the gear, the looks, everything's changed over time, which is fine because money's been infused into it. But the thing is for me, I've gone back to racing because that's where my true love is. Full circle. I love it though. I feel like I've done it all. But the Moto Triple X thing, that was a cool year. I had a lot of fun, a lot of funny stories. And Kenny got back as my mechanic.
Right.
I could tell you some funny ones with Kenny, but I won't.
I remember some of those videos, the crowd, you'd be throwing out videos, and Roy Jansen would come down and go, what are you doing? You can't be giving away this stuff. We're trying to sell things. But, I mean, that was the era then. I mean, you could get away with that, and you were trying to make a name for yourself and a brand.
Absolutely. And, I had weekend battles with the AMA. But it was fun. We had laugh about it, but it was always pushing the envelope. And racing, it's structured. There's rules, and you can even see it, more now than ever. Rules are getting applied. Guys get a little out of control, and they kind of put them back in shape because this is a big sport. A lot of money, a lot of sponsors, all the fans. It's got to be run professional to be accepted. Like, it's got to go to that high level of rules and being run professional for people to accept it as a professional sport.
Yeah, that's something we can't just skip over,
Yeah.
I mean, I watched you grow up riding for Team Green. I watched your younger years as a pro. It didn't happen. And then freestyle, man, you made it happen. You're one of the gnarliest pioneers in that whole sport. All those kids doing it today have guys to thank like you and Hart and Metzger. I mean, you were the first guy to do a 360.
Mike
those
Jones.
X Games gold medals. You got to be so proud of yourself for just like taking something and making it your own and making it huge.
Yeah, I mean, the days when we were starting that, and I had to turn my back on racing, which is so hard because me and my dad were at the track every weekend. And I remember seeing you guys at the track. Like, we grew up in Nebraska, Kansas. You see so many faces, and for me to walk away from that, it was so hard. But we took a chance. We built freestyle motocross. We helped action sports grow a huge industry. And I look at that, I'm like, man, no one will ever be able to take that away. That we were the first guys to do that. And that's like Tony Hawk and Alba. The guys will be known for skate. Like, they're always going to be the OGs. And I feel like that's what we did and have a little stamp in history. So I don't know if I'll ever get in the Motorcycle Hall of Fame for that, but
you should. I mean,
but it's it's a movement.
Absolutely.
You're on a lot of kids' bedroom walls with posters for an O'Neill. I remember they had the win ad, and they showed you with the bike flying through the air. No one's ever seen that before.
No, I still have that poster. I actually have a stack of them I kept. It's like one of the most important posters I've ever kept. So
now you talk about it being full circle. Now you're a mini dad. Can you believe that? You got both your boys racing, man, and we follow you on Instagram. Everybody does, and you got to be having a blast with that.
Oh, for sure. It's not what I planned. I really was always worried with my kids about racing motocross because I know the dangers of it. And but really, when I started getting hurt, breaking bones and losing organs and all the crazy crashes really came from freestyle. And that was when I was pioneering tricks. And you don't really see it as much to these days because you have foam pits. Guys are more structured. We were just winging it. Like, we were on the dirt trying stuff, and, we paid our dues. But, I look at my kids now racing. I feel like the negatives always worried about the injuries, but my kids are so into it. It's what they want to do, so I'm supporting it. And they're so structured. They're eating right. They're training hard. They're not playing video games. They're not watching TV unless it's Supercross. And, I'm saying they're structured. Like, so you know, is it a bad thing? No, it's a great thing. I think I'm going to build them into these great athletes, if not great business guys, just being around the sport.
Yeah.
So I think it's good. I think in the end, hopefully they stay safe, and I can do the most I can to keep them safe, and that's, you know, that's the goal.
Well, I remember a couple years back seeing you down out on the floor with your little son. He did the KTM Junior Supercross Challenge. That had to have been exciting for you as well as your son.
For sure. You know, it's being on the other end of it now. You know, I remember my dad was always calm. He was always like, it's okay, we'll get him next time. And I was always like, no, we got to win now. And so I tried it with my son. I'm like, grinding my teeth sometimes going, man, we got to win. But in the end, we laugh and have fun with it because it's such a long career. So many races, there'll be wins and losses, ups and downs. And so I try to always leave the track with us like, hey, that was fun. Like, we had a good time. And that, in the end, yeah. But it's, you know, being a mini dad is a stressful position at times.
Well, you have a lot more going on than other than that. You know, look at what you're doing. You're still riding your dirt bike yourself. You're racing trucks. You know, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. We got sponsors we got to be happy with. So we're going to take a break right now. We'll be back. Actually, Brian won't be back. We want to thank you for being on the show, man.
Awesome.
He's got his kids here, and he left his
go
car on Orangewood out there just to get in to be on our show.
I know, I got Danger Boy over here. He's like waiting for me. He has not a lot of patience nowadays.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it, Brian.
Thanks.
Cool, folks. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jenny Taft with Fox Sports 1, and you're watching Race Day Live on supercrosslive.com.
All right, folks, welcome back. We have another exciting guest for you. Adam, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks, guys. Thanks
Good
for
to
having
see you,
me
man.
on.
How you doing? I mean, with the shoulder surgery, and you all right? You good?
Yeah, I'm doing rehab right now for the shoulder and had surgery about 6 weeks ago. So right now we're just getting everything moving, and I'll be back for outdoors. Unfortunately, missing Supercross this year.
This would be your practice right here.
Yep, that's it. Rooting on Freeberg. He's my roommate.
Yeah,
of course.
He had a pretty good ride. He had a pretty good ride last weekend.
Yeah, I think it was a 12th.
Yeah, 12th for him.
He really wants to get in the top 10. So,
what do you think about the track, Adam? This looks to me like by far the gnarliest track we've seen so far in the 250 West. What's it look like to you?
Yeah, it does look pretty gnarly. Especially, I think this track isn't going to be very forgiving of a bad start with the switchbacks right away. It's really going to fan people out. The start is important every week, obviously, but when you've been going as fast as Cooper Webb has, you can get a bad start and get to the front, and it's going to be tough to do that here.
Which coast were you going to ride? Let's say you don't get hurt, you win that race over there. You really didn't know which one.
Yeah, I really didn't know yet. I didn't know. I think that race was going to be kind of a decider of where I was.
Yeah.
Either west or east, but you guys know Mitch Payton. He lets us wait until the end.
Yeah, he probably has everybody lined. Hey, you're all riding Anaheim, and let me see, because here's the thing: you can ride practice, and if you get hurt, you're still eligible as long as you don't start the race. So that's why Mitch has that, you know, he doesn't want to, you know, commit to something right now. But talk about what these guys are going through right now. Adam, you had a chance last year. You won a couple races. You were leading the points before your injury. You know, this is the final time. This is their final time practice. We saw Webb. He had the fast time. But what are guys really doing in this second time practice?
This second time practice, if you didn't put a fast time down in the first one, it puts a little bit of panic on you because it is the last time you get you get to put a fast lap in. And also they're dealing with the sun. The sun always goes down, seems like second practice, no matter where you are. It's always in your eyes, and sometimes that's actually good for the track. In certain areas when it's shaded, it seems to be a little bit better, but the second practice is always a little bit more hectic, I think, than the first, just because you realize, you know, this is it before the heat race.
Well, there's Jesse Nelson. We get a chance to see him, a 59.8 there for that last lap for Jesse Nelson. Zach Bell right behind him, and then Matthew Bisceglia right behind him, and Aldrich. So the times are starting to come down.
Yeah, I'll be anxious to see if they can get back into the 58s. We'll see if the track's a little bit faster than before.
How about your teammate there, Tyler Bowers, man?
Yeah, he's been on it. I think he just needs that a little bit more intensity to grab a win in a start. I think he can do it. He's capable. I've seen him during the week in the test track, obviously, and he's solid as it gets. So I think when it really comes crunch time, really championship pressure is when he's going to perform his best. So I think he needs to squeak out a win here in the next couple races, just to kind of get some momentum going on his side. But he's plenty capable. He's got what do they call those things? Those when your veins are cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got ice in his veins.
Ice in his veins,
Yeah.
Ice in his veins.
Well, he's won championships in arena cross. He knows that pressure. You know, it's a little bit different than Supercross, of course, but I think mentally Tyler Bowers is prepared to win this thing. But like you said, he needs a little bit of intensity. But I know you watch the same film in the hauler that he does. What does he need to pick up? Corner speed or?
But wait a minute, I got to interrupt you. You're talking about intensity. What about last week? That was intense.
Yeah,
When that
it
pass he
was
made. I mean,
intense.
I think he stepped it up there.
It was intense, but I think it's just, it seems like Cooper to me right now, he's the top guy, and I think it's just the little things in between all the obstacles, in between all the jumps. He just seems to be charging that little bit harder, and I think Tyler's seen that on film, and I think that's really what he's working on, and I think that's going to be the difference. Right now he's, was that a 58.2?
Yeah.
So I think that's already better than this last practice, and he's still got quite a bit of time left. So let's see if he can get, into the 50. Wow, that's a 58, right?
Yep. 58.2.
What was the time in the first practice?
We don't have those written down, but Dungey
was a 58.1. Our paper with the 250
250
kind of blew away.
That's
So I think that's the
that's
best
the
time.
fastest time of the day for the 250.
Yeah.
So
Let me ask you this, Adam, for a rider, back when we rode, we didn't have timed in scoring and transponders and things like
Right.
that. How important is it to have a fast time as far as confidence when you get to line up for the second heat race?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, it really can make or break your whole entire night. If you have 2 bad practices, you don't feel good going into the night show, you're not confident with your setup, you don't really know if it's you, the bike, the track, you really don't know what's going on. So it's very important just there's some guys that don't practice as fast, but they know that going in. So practice is incredibly important.
That
when
would
it
be
comes
me.
to the race. Yeah.
No. When I was in Sweden for a GP, when I was riding, they had time practice, and I qualified in like 35th fastest. But coming from America, we don't race against the clock. I go out there and practice certain sections. I don't put together a whole lap, maybe once in a while. And I think I ended up 5th that day or something.
Really?
They were all talking. I go, I don't.
I'm the opposite. I always want to be the fastest guy in the practice, no matter when it is. Even if it's free practice, it doesn't even count.
Wow.
I always like seeing my number at the top of the board.
Well, you've been pretty good at that. I was at your first Supercross, which you won in Texas last year. And look at the guy in second place, Malcolm Stewart. He just got his first win last weekend. What does that first win do for you? I mean, for your confidence?
Oh, it's insane. Even going into the season last year, I wasn't quite sure where I was. And after I won that first race, it was like, okay, well, I can win this thing. There's no reason why I can't. So I think that the floodgates are open for Malcolm Stewart. He knows he can do it now, and it's always easier, the second time after you've already done it, you kind of, know what to do.
Yeah.
But Malcolm's going to like this track because the whoops are quite gnarly. Him and Bowers both.
That's why they were 1 and 2, but looks like Coop jumped up in there to second now. And, let's talk about going down the list there. Justin Hill, on the other end of the spectrum, he's leading that thing last weekend. I think he had it in the bag, and then he crashes. What does that do to your head? Is he going to be able to bounce back from that?
Yeah, that's a bummer. That's the one when you go down and you realize what just happened. The crowd goes crazy, and you're just kind of like laying there gosh dang it, But, Justin obviously has the ability to get it done. He did it last year when he was on my team, and, he looks great this year. He just like you said in the beginning of the race there, it looked like he had it, just a little mistake. I think that night, it's a bummer. You realize, you could have had it, but now he realizes he can do it. He realizes he has the speed, and I expect him to get a win before the season's over.
Go ahead.
I got to ask you something that, as we're getting a chance here, we see Bauer still at the top of that 58.2 and Malcolm Stewart at 58.7 there. Then Webb at the 59.0 there, as we're seeing one of the guys getting a little
Richardson, a little whiskey throttle the whoops.
But he hung on to it, the Australian there. But what's your mechanic do, like old B Mountain, Brett Mountain? What does he do like during this time off? I've always wondered that about mechanics.
I don't really know. Unfortunately for me, I haven't been around the shop too much because I've been busy rehabbing my shoulder. But, they definitely. What's cool about the team is everybody helps each other out, and I'm sure Brett's helping. If Ollie Stone, Bowers mechanic, if he needs something, Brett's the first one, to be there to help him out, and even with practice bike stuff and all that, he's there during the week, and he's contributing to the team no matter if he's working for me during the week or not. So. Those guys are a hard-working bunch, that's for sure.
Let me ask you, when you had that injury over in Europe and you were over there riding, Was it hard to talk Mitch into having you go over there? I mean, how did all that play in, and how did all that develop?
The whole thing, that was something that I wanted to do because I went out in Toronto of last year, and it was a long time before I was going to race again, and I just wanted to a race under my belt to kind of, shake the cobwebs out. You don't want to go into the season cold, and it didn't work out too great for me. I ended up with the shoulder and a concussion, and it was a bad deal. 24 hours in a French hospital is never fun.
Ooh.
But, looking back on it, you can get hurt anywhere. I could get hurt at Anaheim 1 or Sweden or, wherever, or Switzerland, rather. But, I don't regret.
Or Sweden.
Yeah,
they got a lot
Sweden,
of
whatever,
races over there,
yeah. So it's difficult looking back on it. You want to say, I just wouldn't have gone. But at the same time, it can happen.
I think you got a great attitude.
Anywhere.
I mean, that's my philosophy. It could have happened here at Anaheim if you're riding the West Coast. It doesn't matter. I mean, you race a motorcycle, you're a professional rider.
Absolutely.
Things happen, and it can happen in Europe. It can happen in Japan, testing over there. If you're over in Japan, testing at Kawasaki there or anywhere. I mean, it can happen. Look at what happened. Martin Davlos, talk about teammates. After you get injured, he's leading, he wins races, and then he gets injured. It just was not Mitch's time to win a championship on that ace last year.
It really wasn't, and that was unfortunate. If I wanted anybody else to win it, it would have been Marty. He helped me so much before the season, even. When I was super slow, even when I was racing him, he was giving me tips. So wanted to see him win it. It's never fun to watch somebody get hurt. It's almost equally as bad as getting hurt yourself.
Well, Adam, all this stuff happens so fast. I ride at your old practice track at Bithlow, and you're still a legend there, and talk about how quickly did it happen before, you're racing 80s, and the next thing you know, you close your eyes and open them, and you're getting your first place trophy inside AT&T Stadium in Texas.
It all happened really fast. I went pro when I was 16, had the rough outdoor season, and then came into Supercross, and it's like everything can turn around so fast in this sport. It's crazy. You feel like everybody's writing you off 1 second. You do good in a race, and you seem like you're right back in the conversation. So that's what I like about this sport. There's a lot of opportunities, even if you do have a rough race.
You mentioned the outdoors, but something that I thought really helped you out was the Monster Energy Cup. Even though you didn't win it, you won a race or whatever, but that kind of got you a little bit of a Supercross race with a big crowd, under your belt.
Yeah, absolutely. The Monster Cup did tremendous things for me. It really calms the nerves, going into a real Supercross race. You've been there, done that before.
So that's it. Sorry to cut you off there, Adam. Let's go through our top 10 here, man. Your boy, Tyler Bauer, is your teammate. Second is Malcolm Stewart. Third is Justin Hill. Fourth is Cooper Webb. Zach Osborne, fifth. Aaron Plessinger, the rookie, in sixth. Nelson, seventh. Hansen, eighth. Zach Bell, ninth. And Alex Martin in 10th. Adam, do you see anything in there that kind of surprises you, or is anything sticking out?
Nothing surprises me too much. Tyler was a little bit angry in between the first and the second practice, so I knew he was going to come out here and lay it down. And they were looking at film, and he definitely saw a few things. So I'm glad to see he, applied the changes and did the best time of the day in the 250 class.
Something that surprises me, though, your teammate Chris Ulrich down there in 17th. He's got speed.
Yeah, I don't know what
round number 5.
About.
Bowers. Tyler, congratulations. It's your first time taking the pole position into the night program. You'll be in heat race number 2, 58.2, almost down to 57 seconds on this 250. How fast are you going right now?
Really fast. I just really concentrate on where I knew I was strong, which is like the whoops, and try to pick up the spots where I knew I was a little bit weak, which was the rhythm section over here. So finally got this rhythm section down, and it brought my times right back to where they needed to be.
Tyler, first time gooding on the elevated platform start. What were your thoughts?
I'm actually pretty happy about it. Seems like gravity might actually be on my side this time, so I'm a little bit heavier, so I might be able to get down that hill a little bit faster. Normally for me, I get a bad jump, and then everybody leaves me off the gate, so I think now being a little bit heavier, I might be able to drive down the backside of that a little bit better than everybody else.
You have over a half a second faster than any other rider out there right now. What do you think it's going to take to keep those consistent lap times into tonight's races?
Just stay up. I think I feel good on the track. I don't feel out of control at all. I think I can do, as normal for me, whatever time I run in practice, I can pretty much run it all night. Might even go faster in the night show. So good start, and just get a clear track. I think there's going to be a lot of guys going down because it's a little bit more technical this weekend. So I think it's going to be just about not getting caught up in the carnage and getting my Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki up front.
We haven't seen a Kawasaki take a win yet in 2015. Do you think you can do that here tonight?
I can definitely do that. I could have done it a few times already. I just haven't been riding like myself, and hopefully tonight I can get out there and let my head clear and just ride good.
All right, we'll see you in heat race number 2. One more time for the fastest qualifier of today in the 250 West Coast Championship, the number 911 Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, Tyler Bowers. You know, he had a lot to say about this.
Boy, I tell you what, man, it just doesn't get any better. You know, Bowers and Webb going at each other and sending tweets and taking each other out. And now look, Bowers is the fastest guy here, followed by the guy that won the race last weekend, followed by the guy that threw the race away, followed by the guy that's leading the points, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. This whole season has been, even for me watching, you know, my heart's beating out of my chest the whole time. So it's cool for the sport. You know, it's cool to see it. Even I would like to be out there, of course, but you know, all these guys going head to head, and even the Twitter thing, the back and forth, it feels like almost like a UFC match.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
so it's cool to see.
It's
absolutely.
Great. And check out these guys coming up next, the big dogs. You know, the hashtag Who's Next all year. It's been crazy. We got Canard winning the race last weekend. We got Dungey leading the points. We got Reed gets on the podium. You know, you're as big a fan as any of us. What do you think?
You know, I think with Kenny having the big crash last weekend, it kind of opened the door. He seemed like he had a little bit of a lead, but now it seems like everybody's kind of even. Tomac's not too far out of it. Dungey with the red plate right now, and Kenny still right there. And you know, I'm looking for El Hombre, Jason Anderson, to get his first win here soon. I think he really likes these West Coast tracks, so I expect he'll get a win soon. And you just never know. Even I play fantasy Supercross. You know, you get to pick all the guys, and I don't even know who to choose every week because it is so close. It seems like whoever gets to start nails those first few laps that, you know, they're 1, 2, or 3. So, you know, Reed won here last year, and I expect him to do well.
Let me ask you this, Adam. Have you talked to Davey Millsaps? I'm kind of wondering, you know, after the Monster Energy Cup when he won, after a year and a half off the bike, I thought for sure he's the guy who's next. He's filling in for Villapoto. He's got all the same guys, mechanic, bike, everything. What do you think he's struggling with?
I think when you take that much time off, I think it's tough. You know, people, you know, he did do really good at the Monster Cup. At the same time, that's a little bit of a different race. You know, the format's a little bit different.
Track's different.
Yeah, exactly. Tracks are different. The track was super fast there. We've seen a lot of tight tracks this year, and you know, I think he'll get it sorted out. I think Davey has the ability. He showed it in the past with runner-up in the series before, so I think he'll get it sorted out. I think it's just a matter of time.
You know, you ride at the Baker's Factory with El Hombre, with Jason Anderson, and I love talking about that kid. He's super fast. How fast is that guy?
He is fast. I mean, he brings the intensity of the track every day. And before the season started, people are saying he's a surprise now, but you know, he looked that good from the time he showed up there. So
you're not surprised, huh?
No, I'm not surprised at all to see him up there, and it's cool to see Kenny and him go 1 and 2 at the first race. Guys have ridden with the whole offseason. It's neat to see some of your friends do really well.
You know what's surprising about me with Jason Anderson is those crashes that he had last weekend, getting back up, still finishing up 10th. Go back here January 17th when Andrew Short crashed. I mean, he's had some problems, you know, since that second place at the opener.
Yeah, and when he crashed with Andrew, he was super bummed because he felt really good that night. Felt like he could, you know, be up there with Ken Roczen, and you know, I expect him to be up there. That, like you said, the rookie thing, wrong time, wrong place, seems to always happen to the guys. We saw it happen to Kenny last year, so I expect, like Davey Millsaps, I expect him to, you know, get it sorted out and to be a consistent podium threat.
You know, then you got Josh Hill here. You know, he's trying to get back in there and trying to get into the main events, and it just seems like he's not getting the starts, and it's got to be tough.
Yeah, if you don't get the starts, the 450 class is so stacked. I talked about my fantasy league earlier. You know, you get to the 20th place guy, and you're like, you got to pick guys that aren't going to make the main event, and they're all really good guys. And Josh Hill has missed the main the last 2 races, and it's just crazy to be able to sit here and say that Josh Hill, with the amount of talent he has missed the last 2, you know, has missed the mains the last 2 races. But it just shows you how deep the field is and how on it you have to be from the time the gate drops.
Got a slow-mo camera here. We're getting a chance to watch Josh Hill as he soaks up that triple. One of the great shots you'll see on Fox Sports 1.
Yeah, that slow-mo camera is really cool.
How about Ryan Dungey? You know, he's leading this thing, 4-point lead.
Yeah, you know, I went out to the KTM test track. Of course, Ryan Dungey works with Eldon as well. I had to grab a heart rate strap from Dungey, and you know, him and Jason and Marvin Muskin were all out there. And they all look really good. So Dungey was actually my pick for fastest qualifier this week. He had it in the first practice. He's sitting fourth right now, but I'm hoping he gets up a little more.
You know, Adam, we have people tuning in from all over the world. We have international viewers, and we have some people that sent us some questions. And Cody B wanted to ask you, what's the hardest part about training for Supercross?
The hardest part, that would be boot camp. Elvin Baker puts us through 8 weeks of pretty much torture. You know, you don't do anything but train, and you go and you lay down. You don't want to be up. You don't want to be doing anything. It's pure hell, really.
No trips to McDonald's?
No trips to McDonald's. I mean, yeah, everything what you eat, it's all measured. And it comes, for me, just a guy that's been a fan of the sport and just kind of ridden his bike his whole life, to come into that and to be that strict is definitely difficult, but it's worth it. It produces results.
Well, but also during the season, you talk about boot camp, he gets you into shape, and then it's just a thing of maintaining it through the season.
Absolutely. Oh, Jason Anderson down in the whoops. Looks like he's up, but the concrete.
That's some excitement there. I like that.
A little road rash.
He'll be all right. He's a tough kid. This kid from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I always tease him. He's a Lobo, man. He's like a wolf out there, just
the
on the
505,
prowl.
as they call it.
There you go, the 505.
Michael Lessie.
Yeah.
He looks all right.
I got him for the whole shot this week.
It's a pretty good pick. You know, he's been really fast this year. You know, he got a 9th place at the first round, I believe, just ahead of Chad Reed, and he's tweaked his knee and he missed Oakland, but he's back. And where's your fantasy pick on that guy tonight?
I think he's a top 10 guy.
Yeah.
I think if he stays out of trouble, I really think he's a better Supercross rider than a lot of guys give him credit for. If he does ride the way he knows how to, he seems to be a little bit inconsistent time to time, but when he rides the way he knows how to, he's a consistent podium guy.
Well, and Adam, that brings up a very good point. You said something that keeps himself out of trouble. One thing that keeps you out of trouble is getting the whole shot, collecting $1,500 from supercrosslive.com, and being in a good spot. I've noticed with Michael Lessie, if he gets a bad position like back in 13th or 14th, he can only come up a couple spots. He needs to get a whole shot tonight.
Absolutely, and like I said earlier, with the track being a little bit tighter right off the start, it's going to be imperative that these guys get out to a start. And it's so much does go down if you don't get a good start. So it really is.
Yeah, we saw Michael Lessie going to the mechanics area. I saw you last year when you were racing, going to the mechanics area. What are you making changes on the bike right now? Just little things?
To be honest, for me, it wasn't too much about bike changes. It was me coming in, just kind of asking my mechanic where I was good, where I was bad, if a rider was doing a different obstacle than me, just to regroup in time to, Barsha down. But just to regroup in time for, in time to throw down one last lap at the end.
Yeah, Justin's down over there after that little tricky rhythm heading into the sand section.
Yeah, doesn't look good. Looks like he's kind of keeled over, maybe just knocked the wind out of himself.
Probably just knocked the wind out. He'll be back. He's strong. Here's a guy that's strong, Tomac.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know what's funny is I know you follow social media and stuff, and you saw like maybe that he was kind of hard on your friend Steve Mathis about giving him a hard time about his starts.
Yes.
You know, his starts haven't been that bad, but on the flip side, he won that race and he hasn't been on the podium. So I mean, he missed it last weekend.
I think from the general public's view, you see Eli Tomac get a really good start at Phoenix and dominate the race. So I think from that perspective, you just kind of want to say that he doesn't get good starts because he was there, but he has been there more than people have noticed. And
well, look at this here, 57.4. We talked about it off camera. Are they going to get into the 57s or 56s? Maybe, possibly. It's getting close. We got just a little under 3 minutes to go here with Tomac leading it right now.
It's funny because for some guys, the track is quite a bit faster, and for others, they don't seem to be improving their time. So it seems like a thing of kind of figuring it out, figuring these rhythm lanes out. Josh Hill again. It's right where Tomac, or it's right where Barsha went down.
Yeah, he got back up. I watched him. He kind of walked off the track on his own. He'll be fine.
Be anxious to see if Dungey throws down a heater here at the end to try to best Tomac, but that's quite a bit of time. Canard in a second.
Yeah. And real quick, with about 2 minutes to go in your final 450A group qualifying, you have Eli Tomac, Trey Canard, Ryan Dungey, Justin Barsha, Cole Seeley's in 5th position. He's followed by Ken Roczen in 6th, Justin Hill 7th, Josh Hill 7th, excuse me. 8th is Davey Millsaps, 9th is Chad Reed, and 10th is Blake Baggett. It's heating up here. We got 2 minutes to go. What do you think, Adam? Who's going to take this top qualifying spot?
Well, Tomac just bested his own time, not by a lot, but he bested it, so it looks like he's firing on all cylinders. It'd be, oh, there it goes, Dungey to the top.
You called it.
Man, that's crazy.
And they're dipping into those 157.1. Or are we going to see somebody getting a 56?
And that's,
I kind of said, well, maybe they might get into a high 56. We'll see, but we got a minute 35 left here.
It's cool to see, you know, Dungey kind of silencing the critics on the factor of speed. He really doesn't get enough credit for his speed, and it's cool to see him.
Yeah, he's fast.
You know, Tomac is known for his just all-out raw speed, so it's cool to see him. Yeah, cool to see him up there.
I tell you what, guys, if somebody's going to dip into the 56s with about over a minute to go here, look at number 94. Let's see if we can find him out here on the track and see if he's putting a heater down.
Could be waiting.
Yeah, we're getting a chance to see. That was Andrew Short there. We're getting a chance to see Seeley now pulling off, and Kyle Chisholm.
It always seems like the last few laps, last 30 seconds of the practice or so, it seems like they all start rolling in. Remember, I had my fast lap. I think it was Indy in the first practice. I ended up 6th with 1 lap to go, so you always got to put it down at the end.
Well, Canard looks like he's on a heater with 48 seconds left.
Yeah, we're anxious to see. We know he can qualify well.
There's Roczen. He's going to get it going here with a little bit of time left. But real quick, motocross fans, the 2015 Yamaha YZ450F just won 2 major motorcycle shootouts in Cycle News and Trans World Motocross. Check them out today at YamahaMotorsports.com.
Yeah, with about 25 seconds left in this one, Kenny Roczen's not going to lay down a fast lap. He's rolling things. He's just, I'm not so sure he's not still a little beat up from that, facing that triple last week. There he goes, kind of step on, step off. But I think this is the farthest I've seen Kenny Roczen off of the qualifying in that 5th right now.
And Ken's the type of rider too, where if he's not feeling it, and it's not a necessity for him to put it to the top of the board, he will be smart about it, and he'll take his 5th or whatever it is. Because you think about it, it's only 2nd, 3rd place gate pick in the heat race, so he could just be picking his battles.
Well, and you talk about Kenny Roczen and Alden Baker and all you guys down there. I hear, is he still working with Alden Baker, Kenny?
No longer. He's not
longer
working with Alden Baker, but he still is riding at the Baker's factory, but
nice.
Just not on the program.
Yeah, you guys are still motoing together. I mean, when you get riding again at the track and stuff, he's just working with his dad now, right?
Yes, exactly. It's just, So, you know, the relationship's good between him and Eldon. You know, everybody understands where everybody's coming from, and Kenny and I and Eldon, we're all still, you know, we're still super tight, so it's cool.
You talk about you talk about your going to physical therapy and stuff. Does Alden Baker go with you and talk to the doctors? Because he has to know where your shoulder's at as far as how much he can push.
Absolutely. The doctor and Eldon are super close, and I'm actually doing therapy at my doctor's office. So.
And Lurch is going to have Dungey down here in the podium. Well, it looks like he's got Tomac. Tomac was 2nd, so he's talking to number 2.
Eli Tomac, 57.2, first guy to bust down into the 57 mark, and that's rail and turns and stick and landings.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It got a lot better since the first practice, just the way the track worked in. They cleaned some stuff up, so you know, I had a really good flow going there, and then I guess the Dunge knocked me off. You know, I love getting that pole position, but I'll definitely take a first gate pick, you know, anytime, and I'll be in that first heat race.
You know, let's talk about that gate pick. Obviously, the start's so different with the elevated start. Gate pick going to be even more crucial, and a lot of guys just sort of rolling off the front and then getting on the gas.
Yeah, it's something I haven't seen before. You know, I think it's new to all of us, really. You know, we've had some smaller little drops in the past, but this is definitely the tallest one.
Well, congratulations. You're turning your season around from the first one. Let's give it up for the Geico Honda, the number 3 of Eli Tomac.
Definitely a great start there and a good time.
We'll get these. Right on.
All right, man, it's about that time. This is when things get pretty exciting for me and Jim here. A little bit of, you know, wagering, a little bit of grudge match going on. We're going to do our picks. You know, we want you to join us with that today. So, you know, go ahead and fire it off. Let's start with the 250 class. Who do you got?
250 class, I'm going to go Tyler Bowers. I'm going Tyler Bowers, Justin Hill, Cooper Webb. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, you got that, Andy? Write that down there. Little AC, he's got Bowers.
Who'd you have in 3rd?
No, 3rd was 17. I think you said Hill was 2nd, right?
Hill 2nd. I have Hill
2nd.
second,
Yeah.
yes. hard to bet against Webb right now, but just feeling it. in the
Cool.
gut.
There you go.
Okay, and the
450s, it's hard, man. I got so many friends.
Well, let us do our 450, our 250s. Go ahead, Andy. Who you going with?
I'm going to go with Bowers, man. I think he's
yeah?
going to do it. I think he's hungry right now. Whatever happened during the week and whatever happened last week, he's using that for fuel. I know Mitch is definitely motivating him.
Yes,
so I think he's going to win it. I think Cooper's going to be second, and I think Hill's going to be third. You know, that was pretty much your picks, but with the exception of Hill and Webb flip-flopping. But that's it. What do you got, Jim? 250.
I'm going to go a little different. I mean, and for you people listening in and tweeting in and everything, Bowers, those are great picks. I'm still going to go. I think that Cooper Webb's going to win this one here. I think he's chomping at the bit. I think he wants to, after watching him ride last week and coming from the back, even though he didn't qualify in fast and Bowers is qualifying fast, I just, I hope they have two different heat races because that'll help us out, later on. But so I'm going to go ahead. I think Bowers is going to be second. I think he's going to keep it honest. I think he's got to keep it honest if he wants to win that championship.
Absolutely.
You got to stick with him. You can't have a gap. And I'm going to go with Jesse Nelson in that third.
Ooh,
I think Nelson's going to, I think Anaheim owes him one. He's leading 6 laps. He throws it away on the over and under 2 weeks ago. So
and it's tough because all the guys that we all named can win.
They're all gnarly.
I left Jesse Nelson off the podium, but that guy could go out there and win by 10 seconds if he wants to. So.
Just like he did at the first round.
Yeah, of course.
All right, man. 450 class. I know you got buddies and stuff.
I got
you
buddies.
don't want to hurt
I'm gonna go Ryan Dungey, Ken Roczen, Ken Roczen, Eli Tomac.
Ooh. You know what? I think you just made me reconsider mine. Those are some pretty salty picks.
So you got Dungey second, leading, and then second Roczen, and then Tomac.
Tomac third.
Wow. Okay.
I'm going to go with Tomac. He's been missing something for the last couple weeks, but I think he's going to get it back. I think he's going to prove everybody his starts are just fine. I think Tomac wins this thing. I think Dungey's going to do what he's been doing. He's going to get second place. I hate saying that. He could win this thing too. And then, Roczen, how far down the list are you going to go before you put the 94 in there? I think that's your top 3. What do you got, Jim?
Well, we left out a couple key players.
Always.
Yeah, I mean, I think I might go with I think Trey Canard.
Oh, boy.
I don't know.
2 in a row?
Well, the last time it was, Kevin Windham, 2008, that Honda went back-to-back in that 450, and that was St. Louis and Seattle. But I just think Trey might do it. I know that he didn't qualify in okay, but I think he'll do it. I think second place, I think I'm going to have to put Dungey there. He's going to hang on to that, and I think I'm going to go with Reed for third again. I think Reed on the box again. Even though he didn't qualify in good, I just think, I like to mix it up too.
Right.
I don't want to go with the same thing, you guys.
It's so hard, like I said, because there's 10 guys that I could put on the podium.
Yeah, and watch El Hombre there,
exactly.
Jason Anderson get his first, and none of us picked him to even be on the podium.
That's why I can't stand picks, because I feel like I'm always leaving somebody out, but you guys made me. So
hey, man, we've been put on the spot every week, and we haven't done very well. I don't think any. You picked Tomac at Phoenix.
I picked Tomac. I've been doing pretty good.
The only time I'm good is when I had the opportunity to bet on myself last year. I just put myself first every time. Was able to get 3 of those full maximum points.
Hey, the other thing I wanted to ask is, you been by the merchandise trailer lately?
Yeah, I haven't.
Do they have an Adam Cianciarulo shirt?
I believe they do.
All right, that's what I was thinking. I didn't get one of those, but they got me one of these. This is the season shirt. I think this is pretty cool with all the different logos. Look, the cactus there for Phoenix there, the Georgia peach, and
it's got enough green on it, right?
Right. But we did a thing with the Toyota Tailgate Talk on merchandise last week, and I saw that Adam Cianciarulo thing on there, and I saw some people buying some stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have any input on that as far as do they send you some drawings, say, hey, look, how do you like this design, this, that? Do you have
a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there is a little bit of that. And
I was curious.
It's cool seeing the fans kind of go around in your merchandise. It's weird because for me, I'm such a big fan of the sport. I'm still just a fan from my perspective. So it is cool to see, guys.
Yeah, and can't forget about the girl stuff either. I brought my girl with me this weekend. The first thing she did was go over there, and she's like, I want that one.
Yeah.
So there you go.
You got a girlfriend, by the way?
I don't. I'm single.
All right, that's good. All right, for all
single.
you single girls out there.
Yeah.
Adam sees a little
I'm over 18, all right? Most of my audience is like girls from like 10 to like 15 years old, so I like to state that I'm 18 so I don't get in any trouble.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, hey, it's been an awesome show. We want to thank you for coming on, man.
Thanks
for
having
your
me,
picks.
guys.
I got to tell you, you're really well spoken. You hosted the Pulp and Mech show this week. You've been on with us. You're blowing up. You're not racing, but geez, man, you're killing it.
Thank you
But,
very much. I appreciate it. Just
we
trying to be like you guys.
There
Thanks,
you go.
man.
There you
Pleasure's
go.
all here. Hey, we want to thank all of our guests. We want to thank Mike Webb from Suzuki, Brian Deegan. We want to thank Zach Ames for jumping on the show with us. Who am I missing?
I know we're missing some.
Weston Peick.
Weston Peick.
We better not
he
forget
was the
about
first.
that guy.
He was on here earlier. I mean,
get up here
Weston,
and beat
yeah.
us up, man.
Yeah, he was. But he was the first one. But yeah, Weston. And we want to thank all of the
Viewers,
fans
man.
and the viewers watching all over the world. I mean, this is a worldwide show, Race Day Live. We want to thank them and
thank our sponsors.
Make
AMSOIL,
sure everyone watches
Yamaha,
Fox
DC
Sports
Shoes.
1.
Yeah, MMI. It's been good. It's been crazy. It's been the last weekend might have been the craziest race I've seen in person in a long time. What's going to come up on Fox Sports 1 tonight at 7 p.m. Who's next? Who's going to win this thing tonight? Is Dungey going to keep the points? Is Cooper Webb and Bowers going to fight it out? Is somebody going to jump? Is Malcolm Stewart going to win another one?
Yeah, he could. I mean, like I said, he got his first last weekend, and Adam, you know as well as I do, when a guy gets his first, it's easier to come by the second one. So it's very easy. He could win here and get his second of his career.
Absolutely. And one thing I learned about this sport, anything's possible. So we'll see what happens tonight.
That's right. We got 2 dual whoop sections. We got an elevated start. It's all coming your way. Round 5.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Dungey riding for Red Bull KTM on the number 5 bike, and you're watching Race Day Live.